Chapter 178. Fine. I'll do whatever Big Brother says. Xiangyi's eyes were gentle as she pushed the food towards Xiangqi. Big Brother, eat it while it's hot. Xiangqi tasted the stir-fried pig intestine with hot peppers. If the intestine wasn't handled well, the smell would be very strong. However, Xiangyi's stir-fried pig intestine not only didn't have any smell, but it was also very fragrant. During the stir-frying process, she added some bean paste, green peppers, and onions, which made it especially chewy. While he was eating happily, he heard Shui say leisurely, "Do you know that there's a tool called a ladder in the world?" Xiangqi was speechless. The pig intestine in his mouth instantly lost its fragrance. "Big Brother, stop teasing him," Xiangyi advised. Xiangqi initially thought that Xiangyi was calling him, but when he realized that she was calling Shui Big Brother, the man was shocked. He had used an apron and a hair tie in exchange for his sister calling him Big Brother. What right did this old man Shui have? What right did he have? Don't call him Big Brother. Xiangshi was furious. Xiangyi was startled. What's the matter? I don't care. Xiangqi was extremely aggrieved. You can only call me Big Brother. In the live stream, there were already fake reviewers leading the discussion. Now, many netizens were affected and began to follow the trend. No one will refute me if I say that Xiangshi is a green tea, right? Her existence on this show is so F***king disgusting. I'm about to throw up my dinner from last night when she keeps calling him Big Brother. This is such a cheesy idol drama. Shui and Hades are really degrading themselves. What kind of woman can't outstanding men like them find? It's so degrading to be jealous of such a woman. Xiangyi coaxed Xiangqi for a long time before he finally calmed down. However, when she met Shui's innocent eyes, she inexplicably felt that she had let him down. The girl pondered for 2 seconds, picked up Xiao Naofu and whispered, "Xiao Naofu, can you do me a favor?" "Meow. Help me coax Senior Shi. He doesn't seem too happy." "Xiao Naofu? What did you say? You want me to coax that stinky man?" "Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Can you coax him like you did just now?" Xiangyi negotiated with it. "I'll make you 3 days' worth of luxurious tiger rice. The kind that Brain Axe loves the most." "Xiao Naofu, do you think you can move me like this?" "Absolutely not. 7 days. He couldn't take any more. Otherwise, I'll ask Jiang Qin and the others for help." Xiao Naofu panicked. Meow. It patted the girl's palm with its little paw, indicating that it was a deal. Xiangyi hugged and kissed it with satisfaction. At this time, Xiangqi was almost done with his meal. He took out his phone and saw that Xiang Feng was very efficient. The ban on his account had been lifted. He opened the live stream to continue the battle, only to find that the comments were even more unsightly. Some people were even lecturing him. "Hades, just play with Xiangyi, don't take it to heart. A woman like her doesn't deserve your protection. It doesn't make sense at all." Bang! Xiangqi slammed the table, clicked on the person's profile picture, and sent a private voice message. "Are you teaching me how to do things? You don't have the right to criticize my sister. I'm protecting my sister. Do I need to explain to you?" The netizens watching the live stream were dumbfounded, and the comments section was full of question marks. "Sister?" Xiangqi glanced at the comments and said coldly, "That's right, I'm Xiangyi's brother." "Xiangqi, do you have a problem with that?" Chapter 179. There was an uproar in the live stream. "Are you kidding me? Hades is Xiangyi's brother? What the hell? There was Smog Xiangyu before, and now there's another brother? Then why did Xiangyi say that she's an only child? I even went to watch the interview. She said it herself." Not only were the netizens watching the live stream, but the staff and guests were also dumbfounded. Xiangqi simply interacted with the netizens. "She's an only child, yes, but I'm her cousin." "Xiangyu? That silly boy is my cousin. We're family." Xiangyi watched from the side in a daze. She didn't expect that her brother would choose to disclose their relationship in such a way. The reason why he used the name Hades instead of his real name was that he only wanted to rely on his own strength and didn't want to have anything to do with the Xiang family. But now, because of her Her brother had exposed his real identity that he had been hiding for years. All of a sudden, her slender wrist was grabbed. Xiangyi looked up, only to find that her brother was standing in front of her at some point. Xiang Qi's expression was unprecedentedly solemn. "She's my sister, not someone you can bully as you please. Rumors stop with the wise. I don't want any more slanderous remarks about her. Cyberbullying is too simple. Most of the time, you don't realize how much harm your casual words can bring to others. If you can't learn to be kind, then at least, keep your mouth shut." There was silence in the live stream, and even the netizens didn't know where to start. After more than 10 seconds, the comments section suddenly exploded. "Ah, Hades is so awesome. When he was climbing the tree, he looked so silly and adorable, but now he's so damn handsome when he's seriously defending his sister. What the F***CK? One brother is an esports guru, while the other is a top designer. Other people's sisters really don't disappoint me. So everything makes sense now. Sister E treats Hades well because she dotes on her brother. Hades made aprons and hair rings for Sister E because he dotes on her. It's not like he's casting a net, it's a sibling relationship." The posts on Weibo and forums that were criticizing Xiangyi for flirting with Hades were instantly rebutted by netizens. Case solved, they're siblings. I suddenly feel weird. Why does he have to snipe Sister E every time? I just heard the analysis of a big shot in the media industry. He said that the core of Two Under One Roof seems to be Shengdi, but it's actually Xiangyi. In the early stages of the variety show, they relied on Shengdi's popularity, but what really stabilized the number of viewers and enriched the show's content was Xiangyi's culinary skills and skills. If it were any other artist, they wouldn't be able to achieve this effect. In other words, without Xiangyi, this variety show would never have achieved what it has today. The public opinion had reversed. Chapter 180. Xiangyi flirting with Hades? Are you kidding me? Xiangyi two-timing? Are you kidding me? Thanks to the convenient speed of the internet, any information spread hundreds or thousands of times faster. The hashtag Xiangyi's brother, Hades hashtag became a trending topic, and the number of related topics remained high. Suppressing hashtag eating well for all 3 meals is about to start streaming hashtag Meow TV. Seeing the shocking reversal, Chen Mian was about to vomit blood. He said angrily, "How can he be her brother? How many brothers does she have?" The head of the public relations department had a sullen look on her face. She never expected that Xiangyi and Hades were actually siblings. None of the points that she had asked the internet trolls to slander them could be used. Those were the prerequisites to slander them. Slandering them out of nothing wouldn't have much of an effect. The number of viewers in the live stream of Two Under One Roof rose from more than 4 million to 5 million, and then to 6 million. Her heart skipped a beat when she saw the number. At this rate, it would probably rise to 10 million by the evening peak. What did that mean? It meant that Two Under One Roof was really going to be a hit. Where are the hackers? Have you found them? Chen Mian roared. The head snapped out of her daze and hurriedly checked the messages on her phone. Her eyes lit up. "I've contacted them." Chen Mian smiled viciously. "Over 10 million? Don't even think about it." Xiang Qi's interaction with the netizens was still going on, and he was basically praising his sister the entire time. "Of course my sister is the cutest in the universe. Don't think that she's just good at cooking. Her sense of taste is amazing. She can tell the seasoning and cooking techniques just by tasting a dish. Xiang Yu is Sameo Gu, so I'm Sanmao Gu? Who posted that? First, it's kelp silk, now it's Sanmao Gu. Do you think I don't care about my reputation?" At this moment, the live stream suddenly went black and was forced to stop. All the viewers in the live stream immediately exited. They wanted to enter again, only to find that there was a bug in the live stream of Two Under One Roof. At the live stream, Li Jinyu hurriedly called the staff forward to check the faults. Xiao Naofu, on the other hand, hesitated for a long time before finally jumping to Shi Sui's side. It laid down, revealing its soft, milky white belly, its eyes filled with tears of humiliation. Shi Sui raised her eyebrows and scratched its belly. Then, she withdrew her hand disinterestedly. What a stinky man playing hard to get. Xiao Naofu refused to believe it and used its head to nudge Shi Sui's palm again. The man remained unmoved and even pushed it away in disgust. Boom! The sky collapsed. Xiao Naofu sat on the ground, doubting its life. This man, he is not interested in this Huhu's body. Holding the kitten's paw, Jiang Chen teased it with a smile. Your sister just kissed you, and you're abandoning her to play with someone else? He paused for a few seconds. His slender hand grabbed Xiao Naofu by the scruff of its neck and brought the cat in front of him. Shi Sui narrowed his eyes. She kissed it? Xiao Naofu tilted its head. Meow. Shi Sui curled his lips slightly and closed the distance between them. Taking advantage of the unsuspecting kitten, he pressed his pale lips onto Xiao Naofu's forehead with a chirp. Jiang Chen was dumbfounded. An inexplicable thought came to his mind. Does Senior Shi count as indirectly kissing my sister? Xiao Naofu. Damn it, why did you kiss me? This Huhu is not clean anymore. Chapter 181. A few minutes later, Li Jianyu helplessly announced, Xingshan Broadcasting contacted me, saying that a hacker maliciously attacked the database and specifically targeted our broadcast room. Even if we change to another broadcast room, I'm afraid we'll still be attacked. Today's broadcast will end here. Thank you for your hard work. The C7 brothers still had a schedule early in the morning. Although there were some regrets, they still had to leave. Before leaving, the brothers bowed to all the staff to express their gratitude. The program crew had a good impression of these cute and polite brothers. Li Jianyu even added them on WeChat to see if there was a chance to recommend them to other directors in the industry. Finally, it was time to say goodbye to Xiangyi. Sister. There were thousands of words in his heart, but he didn't know where to start. Jiang Chen's eyes were red. Thank you for inviting us to participate in Two Under One Roof. I feel very happy. Yes, me too, sister. Thank you for the food, sister. It's been hard on you. I hope sister can be happy every day. Hey, sister, everything is good. In the fast-forwarded world, Xiangyi had experienced too many farewells, so when she returned to the real world, she basically didn't take the initiative to socialize, because being in contact with people meant that there would inevitably be times when they would be separated. However, Two Under One Roof gave her a different feeling. Here, I prepared it for you guys. Eat well, especially when you're in a bad mood. Only then will you have the strength to face everything. She took out a few bundles of packed lunchboxes and smiled gently. I'm looking forward to the day when you guys shine on the stage. You can come eat here whenever you want, you're always welcome. Someone sobbed and the sad mood spread. The younger brothers took the bento in her hand and walked forward without looking back. They were afraid that if they looked back, they wouldn't be able to hold back their tears. They didn't fear the cruelty of this world. But they could never be indifferent to gentleness. After sending off the brothers, Xiangyi was blocked by Xiangqi. Brother? The girl looked up and called out to him in confusion. Xiangqi's handsome face was tense. Want to talk? Xiangyi bit her lip and nodded. Under the tall sycamore tree, Xiangyi sat on the swing and looked at her brother expectantly. Xiangqi raised his hand and swung the swing for her. After pondering for a moment, he asked, Where have you been for the past year? Xiangyi didn't know how to answer. It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. It's good that you're back. Xiangqi's voice lowered, revealing a hint of hoarseness. The tip of Xiangyi's nose began to sting. She propped herself up on the tips of her toes and stopped, staring at Xiangqi seriously. Brother, I went on a trip. I went to a very distant place, met a lot of different people, and learned some strange skills. Now that my trip is over, I'm going home because you're all here. Xiangqi's expression changed slightly. He turned his face away and asked awkwardly, Hey, did anyone bully you? Do you need me to avenge you? Xiangyi smiled. No, I'm the one bullying others. After all, she was the strongest assistant in the world. Xiangqi felt as if a heavy burden had been lifted off his shoulders. He suddenly grabbed Xiangyi's little face and squeezed it twice, threatening her fiercely. The next time you go on a trip, you have to bring me along. At the very least, you should have informed me. I'm really worried about you. Sister, be good, okay? Chapter 182. The air was especially fresh after the rain and there was a faint floral scent in the air. A few street lamps gave off a warm glow and even the night breeze was extremely gentle. Jianghu wanted to cry but she tried her best to hold it in. She sounded like she was about to cry. Don't cry. Xiangqi's tone was fierce and his voice was nasal. He sniffled, took out his phone and turned on the camera. You, hurry up and coax me. Jianghu, big brother is the best in the world? Xiangqi emphasized, third brother is the best in the world. Jianghu cooperated and recorded a video. Xiangqi was elated. I'll send it to Sanction and the rest now. The atmosphere between the brother and sister was filled with warmth after they had reconciled. Not long after the message was sent, Jianghu was curious. Did they reply? Xiangqi took a look and saw that Sanction had not replied. It was probably because of the time difference or because he was busy with work overseas. Xiangyu had not replied either. He was probably still in an autistic state. However, his second brother, Xiang Li, who he thought was the busiest, had replied. Xiang Li, ha. Xiang Li, smile. Smile. Xiang Li, I'm planning to go to the manor tomorrow. Xiang Li, the sun will still rise tomorrow. It's unknown if you can see it. Xiang Qi. He quickly put away his phone and put it in his pocket, not showing Xiangyu the content of his reply. Brother, let me see. Xiangyu whined. What are you looking at? Go to sleep. Xiang Qi put on the airs of an older brother. Well, I have to go back to the studio to work on the new design. Huh? That urgent? Stay for another night? You can leave after breakfast tomorrow. Ah, I want to eat my sister's breakfast. I have to be alive to eat it. Xiang Qi struggled for 2 seconds and made up his mind. You don't have to send me off. I'm leaving. Bye. He plunged into the darkness as if he were being chased by a dog. Xiangyi. The childish third brother was so strange. However, she and third brother had reconciled. Thinking of this, a smile appeared at the corner of the little girl's mouth, and even her footsteps became lighter. In the living room, when Xiangyi came in, she saw Shi Sui fiddling with the projector. The screen was frozen at the beginning of a movie. It looked like a horror movie. Only then did she remember that she had only used the projector a few times since she had bought it a long time ago. You want to watch a movie? Shi Sui looked back and raised her eyebrows. Xiangqi doesn't allow you to call him brother, so you won't? The little girl wanted to change her words, but Shi Sui said casually, it doesn't matter what you call me. Xiangyi, then, how about I call you by your name? Calling him senior was indeed too distant. She was afraid that Shi Sui would mind if she called him Zai Zai. After thinking about it, it seemed that calling him by his name was the most appropriate. Shi Sui's eyelids drooped lazily, and the light reflected on his face gently. In the midst of the light and shadow, he responded with an indiscernible Shi Sui. The little girl's voice was gentle and soft. She had heard this name countless times, but it sounded different when she called it. For some reason, it felt more intimate than when she called him brother. He looked at her from afar. His temperament and expression were as gentle and clear as ever, but there was a touch of affection between his thin eyebrows. Do you want to watch a movie together? He asked. Okay, I'll go get the popcorn. Xiangyi came out with the homemade milk-flavored popcorn. Shi Sui poured 2 glasses of drinks and made goat milk for Xiao Naofu. Xiangyi's brain twitched and she blurted out, aren't we a bit like a family of 3 watching a parent-child movie together? The room went silent for a moment. Chapter 183. An invisible awkwardness pervaded the air. Xiangyi awkwardly corrected herself. I'm telling a joke, isn't it funny? Shi Sui raised an eyebrow. A cold joke. Fresh out of the oven, should it be considered a hot joke? It sounded more like a cold joke. The girl simply used the wisdom that her brother had taught her. As long as I don't feel awkward, then it's others who feel awkward. She calmly sat down on the sofa and stuffed popcorn into her mouth. Let's start. Shi Sui turned off the lights in the living room and pressed play with the remote control. The room darkened, accompanied by the gloomy scene and terrifying sound effects on the screen. Xiao Naofu desperately burrowed into Xiangyi's arms. Xiangyi raised her hand to hug it, and the little cat whined and rubbed against her collarbone. Suddenly, there was the sound of a chainsaw drilling. Xiao Naofu was so scared that it wanted to bury its head in her chest, but a ruthless hand suddenly appeared behind its neck and lifted it into the air. Meow meow meow. Xiao Naofu kicked its little legs, so scared that its fur stood up. Shui calmly stuffed the little cat into her pajamas pocket. I'll take care of Xiao Naofu, you eat your popcorn first. Xiao Naofu was as timid as a dog. It buried its face in the pajamas pocket and didn't dare to move. Xiangyi, I want to tell a joke again, do you want to hear it? Shui, huh? Xiangyi, the scene just now was a bit like, mother of a child, I'll take care of Xiao Naofu, eat your popcorn first. Darkness shrouded the man's eyebrows and he seemed to chuckle. His voice was low and magnetic, revealing a languid and seductive energy. When did our sister Yi learn to take advantage of others? Cough cough. Xiangyi choked on her popcorn. Fortunately, Shui handed her a glass of honey lemonade in time. She drank 2 mouthfuls to moisten her throat and pretended to be calm. If you really want to take advantage of others, I'll call you Zai Zai and let you and Xiao Naofu call each other brothers. Xiao Naofu, meow. This dog of a man doesn't deserve to be called brother of this hoo-hoo. Shui raised her eyebrows. In that case, it's not unfair for me to call you the mother of my child, right? I was just spouting nonsense. You don't have to beat around the bush. Shui crossed his long legs and leaned against the sofa leisurely. If you want to take advantage of me, I'll let you take advantage of me. Xiangyi. Why did he feel like he was being teased? The girl took a deep breath. It was probably because she was too excited about reconciling with her brother that she was talking nonsense. Xiangyi stiffly changed the topic. Where is the plot now? Where's the ballet dancer? She had asked casually, thinking that Shui would answer her quickly. She did not expect him to be silent for more than 10 seconds before he said uncertainly, "Did you get your lunchbox?" The next second, the camera panned to the ballerina. Shui, with her by his side, it became extremely difficult to focus on watching the movie. Fortunately, the girl was engrossed in the movie and did not care about his answer at all. As she ate, she became sleepy and her head nodded. It looked like she was about to fall to the other side of the sofa. Shui quietly put his hand on the back of the girl's neck and gently moved her to his shoulder. The girl leaned on his shoulder, sleeping soundly with her eyes closed. His thin lips curled up slightly. Xiao Naofu's cat eyes widened. It felt like this scene was even scarier than the horror movie that was currently playing. This dog of a man actually has such a gentle side? Don't tell me this hoo-hoo is really going to have another father? No, another brother? Chapter 184. Unlike the peaceful days in the manor, a huge wave had been set off on the internet. First, there was a huge reversal of public opinion. Claims about Xiangyi being a seductress and the self-objectification of women were all overturned by netizens. The marketing accounts and fake reviewers were scolded so badly that they began to doubt their lives. Then, the closure of the live stream caused strong dissatisfaction among fans. Complaints and disses were everywhere on the internet. What technical problem is this? It's been so long and they still can't watch the live stream? Let's talk about a conspiracy theory. I feel that the problem with the live stream is not a technical problem at all, but someone's doing. Think about it, the live stream of Two Under One Roof was also shut down several times on the first day, right? Don't talk about traffic problems. The traffic for the premiere of Heartbeat Next Door is not lower than that of Heartbeat. Why is the live stream so peaceful and the internet so stable? It's obvious that Muyao TV is familiar with this operation. What kind of tricks have they not used before? Slandering, exposing black material, creating hype, and hiring fake reviewers. 2 years ago, they plagiarized a small web show and refused to admit it. The director posted on Weibo asking for help from netizens, but in the blink of an eye, his leg was broken. Damn. I was wondering why there were so many posts defaming Xiangyi. I thought that this girl's business skills were a little bad in the past, but it wasn't to the point of being despised by everyone. It turns out that someone deliberately did this. These comments caused a huge uproar. Some fans even went to Meow TV's official Weibo account and left comments asking for an explanation. The operations department of the official Weibo account approached the public relations department, and after some discussion, they decided to delete the comments, block users, remove the trending searches on Weibo. The public relations department had long been used to such operations. The emotions of netizens came and went quickly. How long could the love last? How long could the hate last? As long as they refused to admit it and refused to respond, the netizens would have no evidence and no patience. What could they do to them? However, to everyone's surprise, the official Weibo account's high and mighty attitude of not taking the netizens seriously had successfully angered a large group of people. No way, right? I'm anxious. Delete the post? Can you delete it all? If you don't want people to know, don't do it in the first place. I'm dying of laughter. If you're not guilty, then what is? The love and hate on the internet might not last long. But anger does. It is better to divert than to block, and divert than to lead. Blocking it and suppressing it would result in a backlash. Meow Satellite TV's official Weibo was flooded with comments. Some people even found out that Chen Mian was the director of Eating Well for All 3 Meals, which would be broadcasted tomorrow. The netizens found a place to vent their emotions. Chen Mian's personal Weibo and the official Weibo of Eating Well for All 3 Meals instantly fell. At the drinking party, Chen Mian enjoyed everyone's toasts proudly. During this time, some people glanced at their phones and began to whisper to the people around them. Within a few minutes, everyone was looking at him strangely. Why aren't you drinking anymore? Are you looking down on me? Chen Mian was shouting drunkenly when his phone suddenly rang. It was obviously the name of his direct superior. The call was connected, and the boss said concisely, "Xiao Chen, the project, Eating Well for 3 Meals has been assigned to someone else. You should rest well for a while." Chen Mian instantly sobered up. His face was as pale as a ghost. "Leader, you can't give up on me like this." The phone was hung up coldly. He wailed, "No." Chapter 185. At the same time, at a research institute. On the outdoor balcony, sparks of light flickered. "Ah, brotherly, I finally succeeded. My experiment has perfectly extracted the J3 enzyme." The chubby boy saw Xiang Li and rushed over excitedly, wanting to give him a big hug. Xiang Li's indifferent movement was comparable to a flash in a game, causing the little fatty to pounce on empty air. The tall man with long legs leaned against the railing, a cigarette in his mouth, looking indifferent and distant. "Congratulations." "What's wrong with a hug?" The chubby boy mumbled. "Isn't everyone saying that you don't like girls?" Xiang Li lifted his thin single eyelids, revealing a faint red mole under his eyelid. "Assuming that I like boys, what does that have to do with liking you? Do you think I don't care about looks or IQ?" The chubby boy was speechless. "Thank you, I'm hurt. Brotherly, I heard that you took a leave of absence tomorrow. Are you going home to visit your family?" There were many research maniacs in the research institute, and they might not contact the outside world for months when they were busy with a project. Xiang Li was the most exaggerated. In the past year, he had barely left the research institute. At the mention of family, Xiang Li obviously relaxed a lot. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly, and he smiled a little mischievously. "I'm going home to bully little bunnies." The chubby boy was speechless. What kind of bad taste is this? The next day, Xiangyi slept very soundly. When she woke up, she looked at the alarm clock beside her bed. It was 6:53 a.m. While washing up, the girl suddenly realized something. Wait, wasn't she watching a movie last night? Why was she in her own bed when she woke up? She spat out the mouthwash and sighed. After transmigrating back, her vigilance was getting lower and lower. Meow. Xiao Naofu, who was lying on the pillow next to her, opened its eyes and looked at her, humming in a childish voice. It liked to sleep on pillows instead of a cat bed. Xiangyi couldn't do anything about it, so she could only pamper it. "Sleep a little longer, I'll make you some chicken and pumpkin rice later." Xiangyi kissed its forehead out of habit, but Xiao Naofu stiffened. "Yesterday, That stinky man had also kissed her here. It couldn't even lick its fur. How infuriating! The little kitten rubbed Xiangyi's lips with its paw and meowed miserably. Stupid woman, you're the same as this hoo-hoo. You're not clean anymore. After the morning exercise, Xiangyi made breakfast for the staff. The doorbell rang, and she got up to open the door. The morning fog had yet to disperse, and the surroundings were filled with moist and hazy water vapor. Little Rabbit Farm's Wang Xuanli smiled at Xiangyi and said, "Miss Xiangyi, I'm here to deliver some food to you." After knowing that Xiangyi was streaming, he would come over personally to deliver the ingredients every day. He would choose the best and freshest ingredients from Little Rabbit Farm. "Thank you, Uncle Wang. Thank you for your hard work." Xiangyi took the basket from his hand and said, "Stay for breakfast." Wang Xuanli said, No, there are quite a lot of things to do at the farm. Oh, by the way, it seems that people from the Research Institute are coming over today. I received a notice that the experimental field is going to be inspected or something." "I see." Xiangyi nodded. "Then I'll have to trouble you to cooperate." As they spoke, the sound of a car horn came from the gate. It was a very rhythmic 3 beeps, no more and no less, as usual. Xiangyi's heart skipped a beat. Looking into the distance, she saw a low-key black car. The muscular bodyguard got out of the car first and opened the door for the person in the back. She received an editor's notice that Sister E is 10 years old would be published after 0:30 tonight. After it was published, each chapter would cost 5 cents, and it would cost about 2 to 3 cents a day to catch up. Those with high VIP status could even get a discount. Writing a book was just like being a staff member at a fried chicken shop, a milk tea shop, and a staff member at a hot and sour noodles shop. It was all a job. Nuanyuan also earned her tuition fees and pocket money through her own hands. She hoped everyone could understand. A little plot trailer? Thun. Isn't Second Brother Online good? White Chia Black meets Green Tea Meow and Best Actor. The competition between families is about to start. 2. Sea King, Sister is online, and there's a bunch of fresh meat in the house. Sure, Indie's status is in danger. I'm the male lead. 3. A large-scale face-slapping scene. When it comes to face-slapping, our Sister E will definitely not lose. 4. Throwing sugar at an untimely time. Today we're all experts. 5. Second Brother is here. Can the stubborn big brother be far behind? 6. Sister E drops her disguise and reveals her identity. She's really a Mr. Perfect big brother. Here's the main point, there are more than 20 chapters. Audiobook's first subscription is quite important. If possible, I hope our Sister E can have a full subscription. For all, heart to all the lovely you who accompanied me here. Chapter 186. The sunlight pierced through the clouds and the mist, landing on the man's body. He wore a clean white cotton shirt paired with black trousers. The top 2 buttons of his shirt were unbuttoned, revealing a clean protruding Adam's apple. He pushed his glasses up with his fingers. The skin of his wrist was so fair that it was almost transparent. The light blue veins were faintly discernible. He was thin but not frail. A pair of silver-rimmed glasses rested on his high nose bridge. He exuded a gentle and proper aura. The bodyguard opened the black wrought iron gate for him. The man walked slowly into the manor. Xiangyi took a few steps forward and stopped, hesitating. It was her second brother. Xiangli, his hand? Was it all right? The man had long legs and big strides. In the blink of an eye, he was in front of Xiangyi. But his gaze went past Xiangyi and landed on Wang Xuanli. Are you the person in charge of Little Rabbit Farm? Yes, it's me. You're from the Research Institute? Xiangli nodded, his posture elegant and clear, like a gentle young master from an ancient scholarly family. Xiangyi's face turned pale and she gripped the corner of her clothes tightly. Her brother treated her like air. It turned out that what was worse than indifference was disregard. Wang Xuanli said politely, I'm a bore. I don't know how to say nice things. Thank you for your hard work. Have you had breakfast? Our Miss Yi's cooking is superb. Uncle Wang, take him to Little Rabbit Farm to eat. Xiangyi interrupted Uncle Wang and glanced at Xiang Li's right hand. Upon closer inspection, She saw that it was wrapped in a light-colored wrist guard. She bit her lower lip subconsciously, not daring to meet Xiang Li's eyes at all. She was afraid that she would see blame in her second brother's eyes. She was even more afraid that her second brother would treat her like a stranger. As for breakfast, considering her third and fourth brother's attitudes, her second brother must hate her to the core. How could he eat it? He would probably be annoyed if he even spoke to her. For the first time, Xiangyi ran away. She ran away. Missy? Wang Xunli scratched his head, puzzled. What's wrong with Missy? She had never made a mistake when it came to etiquette, but her behavior today was very unusual. However, Xiang Li suddenly narrowed his slender eyes, as a glimmer of a black-bellied light flashed past his eyes. He had only experimented for a while, and the answer had already surfaced. As expected, it wasn't that certain. Xiangyi stayed in the room until 5 minutes before the start of the live broadcast. Hearing the noise, Shui turned her head and fixed her gaze on the little girl. Although she was wearing light makeup, he could tell that Xiangyi was trying to hide something. It was a morning that could not be concealed. You don't have a fever today, do you? Shui asked. Xiangyi answered absent-mindedly. Out of the corner of her eye, she caught a glimpse of Li Jinyu and Xiang Li chatting about something and dancing with joy. Her eyes widened. Sister Yu, come, let me introduce you to a big shot. Li Jinyu waved at her. He helped us a lot. Xiangyi's expression stiffened, and she did not dare to approach at all. Suddenly, Shui's gentle voice sounded in her ear. Together? Xiangyi thanked him softly and gratefully. Thank you. Shui ruffled her hair. Not far away, Xiang Li's eyes suddenly flashed under his silver-rimmed glasses. Li Jinyu was as happy as a fool. This is Dr. Xiang, a big scientific researcher who came to Little Rabbit Farm for a business trip. He heard about the attack on our live broadcast and helped us write a security wall program. Scientists these days are really too helpful. All right, both of you have the same surname, it's really fate. Your ancestors might be from the same family. Chapter 187. Xiangyi's cherry lips parted. She didn't reply. Xiang Li looked at her with a half-smile and reached out his clean and slender hand. Hello. For a moment, Xiangyi thought that her brother had forgiven her. But how was that possible? Second brother's hand was crippled. Xiangyi couldn't help but feel angry when she recalled the information she had received from the investigation. A year ago, the person who possessed her body invited second brother to go rock climbing. She wasn't a professional at all, but she refused to wear any protective gear and insisted on climbing on her own. As a result, she almost fell off the rock wall. It was second brother who saved her. However, in order to save her, he cut his right wrist. The wound went deep into his bone and pressed on his nerves. Although it didn't affect his normal life, he could no longer perform those extremely sophisticated experiments. After the incident, Xiangyi even tried to shirk responsibility and lied that Xiang Li had accidentally injured himself and had nothing to do with her. She had completely broken second brother's heart. The Xiang family didn't believe her one-sided story. They went to check the surveillance footage and found out the truth. They gave her one last chance to confess, but she still lied. After this incident, everyone in the Xiang family was utterly disappointed in her. That was why they didn't care about her after she entered the entertainment industry. Xiangyi subconsciously rubbed her hand on her skirt before shaking Xiang Li's hand. Her voice trembled as she said, "So." Xiang Li let go of her hand after shaking it for a moment. He restrained himself and didn't seem to have any problems. However, he frowned slightly. Why is my sister's hand so cold? Because of his frown, Xiangyi felt like her heart had been pricked by a needle. She lowered her eyes, her long eyelashes casting a faint shadow on her milky white face. So, he still hates me, Li Jinyu was still blabbering heartlessly. Dr. Xiang even agreed to be our guest this episode to spread the knowledge of scientific farming. He suddenly felt that his variety show had become much more sophisticated. Xiangyi felt a little happy. If her brother was going to be a guest, didn't that mean she would be able to see him all day? But she soon realized that perhaps her brother didn't want to see her. 2 minutes later. Teachers, get ready. The live stream is about to begin. The staff members began to move. Xiangyi forced herself to look at the camera. As usual, today's live broadcast began with breakfast on the dining table. Steamed buns, soy milk, bean dregs cakes, tea eggs. Simple home-cooked dishes were cooked with Xiangyi's skillful hands, making them incomparably appetizing. She made 2 kinds of stuffed buns. The meat buns were made from 3 fat and 7 lean pork. She used a processing machine to make minced meat and added scallions, ginger, fennel, and other things to enhance the flavor. The vegetarian buns were made from mushroom and winter bamboo shoots. She added a few drops of sesame oil and it tasted particularly delicious. Even the folds were pinched like a piece of art. They were delicate and white, obediently nestled in the steamer, waiting to be pampered. Soy milk was made by mixing soybeans, rice, peanuts, red dates, and other ingredients. Then, it was ground out bit by bit using the graphite in the small kitchen before being heated. The remaining bean dregs were mixed with a little flour and eggs to make a bean dregs cake. It was crisp and crispy. The tea eggs were stewed overnight and even the egg yolk had become tasty. Paired with a dish of boiled vegetables and a few small plates of pickled vegetables, it was nutritious and heartwarming. Through the livestream camera, it was transmitted to every viewer's screen. "Oh, I'm hit by the delicious food again. I'm crying, I've already had breakfast. I'm hungry again. Clever and defty. The most beautiful master chef-y. I support 2 under 1 roof. I support Sure Sway. I support Sister E." With the support of public opinion last night, the atmosphere in the live stream was harmonious and beautiful. Chapter 188. When Xiang Li entered the scene, Li Jianyu acted as the narrator and gave him a simple self-introduction. The live comments. A 26-year-old PhD student? What kind of divine top student brother is this? Wu, he has such a clean temperament. He has a gentle and scholarly aura and that little red mole. He's so perfect for my taste. He's not a doctor, he's a sniper. Which Xiang is he? Xiang? 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 Ha, if it's Xiang Li, he might be Sister Yi's brother. I'm dying of laughter. Is everyone with the surname Xiang her brother? What are you dreaming about in broad daylight? It's none of your business. How much did Muyao TV pay you? Why do you have to be a dog instead of a human? As long as there were 1 or 2 haters, they would soon be rebuked. Muyao TV was now everyone's public enemy. Of course, they had to defend Xiangyi. At the dining table, Xiangyi held her breath nervously, afraid that her brother wouldn't touch the food she cooked. To her surprise, her brother ate it. His expression was natural and he didn't show any disdain. He even praised her by saying, "It tastes good." Xiangyi thought that her brother might have said that out of social etiquette. Facing the person who ruined his hand, he was still so gentle. Her brother was really great. Little did she know that Xiang Li really just felt that his sister's culinary skills were too good. It's been a long time since I last tasted this delicious. He slowly peeled a tea egg and handed it to Xiangyi. Here for you. Huh? Xiang Yi raised her starry eyes, full of disbelief. Seeing that she didn't take it, Xiang Li placed it on a small plate in front of her. He then peeled another one and gave it to Sure Sway. Sure Sway. Thank you. Xiang Li smiled slightly. You're welcome. The pop-up comments instantly exploded. Is there anyone who supports the doctor and Sister E? Don't the doctor and best actor pair make sense? Big bro swordsman is so gentle QQ, I can't resist such a gentle man. Xiangyi's eyes were filled with surprise. She carefully ate the tea egg, thinking that it was really delicious when peeled by her brother. Even though she knew that her brother was very good at taking care of people, the little girl couldn't help but smile. At this moment, someone suddenly commented in the live stream. F*CK, did any of you see the new news about Xiangyi on Weibo? I'm shocked. Her persona has completely collapsed. At first, there were people who mocked. Another water army? I won't see you off. But soon, more and more people posted similar comments, arousing the curiosity of many people. Hence, they opened Weibo. The so-called melon was a long Weibo post posted by a blogger named Noob Baldy PhD. Noob Baldy PhD Old fans who follow me should know that I'm a die-hard fan of Dr. X. As a top expert in biomedicine, he has been involved in many fields, especially in the field of medicine. He's a god among gods. However, he withdrew from the most cutting-edge experimental research a year ago and chose to take the theoretical route instead. I couldn't figure it out no matter how hard I thought about it. It wasn't until recently that I learned that Dr. X was forced to stop his research because his right hand was injured and his nerves were damaged. What shocked me even more was that his hand wasn't injured by accident. It was caused by Jianghu V. I have the video as evidence. A bright star in the scientific research field has fallen, and a so-called star in the entertainment industry has become extremely popular. It's really magical realism. Alas. How unfortunate. How ironic. Chapter 189. The blogger was usually humorous and witty, and he even had a private message account. He would often post posts about the campus life of some fans, such as weird teachers and weird classmates. He had quite a lot of fans. Hence, when this Weibo post was posted, it immediately became popular. The fans of Two Under One Roof and Xiangyi's fans who rushed over after hearing the news didn't believe it at first, but after watching the video, they all fell silent. The video was taken at an outdoor rock climbing base. It was obvious that Jianghu wasn't wearing any protective gear and was recklessly climbing with her bare hands. However, she didn't climb very high before she ran out of strength. Just as she was about to fall, Xiangli quickly climbed up to save her. However, she didn't know if she was scared or nervous, but after she steadied herself, she bumped into Xiangli. Xiangli also injured his hand as blood slid down his almost transparent fingertips. It was a ghastly sight, but not only did she not show any concern for Xiangli, she even complained that her hand was scratched and cried for the emergency doctor to treat her first. Even if Xiangli was just an ordinary person, the netizens who saw this scene were furious to the extreme, let alone the fact that he was a top medical doctor. I thought Xiangyi was being defamed by Miao TV, but it turns out she has a bad character to begin with. Vomit vomit. She bumped into him on purpose, right? Dr. X is a national treasure in scientific research. What is she up to? Is she a spy sent by a foreign country? She cried and asked the doctor to treat her first. I'm so disgusted. How can a person be so selfish? I'm going to save my breath. I just want to ask Xiangyi V, why are you still pretending to be a gentle and intellectual girl? Are you a B*T? When the public relations department of Miao TV saw this Weibo post, they slapped their thighs and exclaimed, "This is like giving a pillow when I'm sleepy." The public relations department bought this Weibo post on the spot and made it a hot search. A stone stirred up 1,000 ripples, and the ripples were monstrous. The video was equivalent to concrete evidence. The fans were all dumbfounded. Not to mention defending Xiangyi, most of them began to waver on whether they should stop being fans. 20 minutes later, the noob PhD posted a screenshot of the live stream of Two Under One Roof and wrote a line from Tagore's famous poem, "The world kissed me with pain, and I will repay it with a song." The picture was of Xiangli peeling an egg for Xiangyi and handing it to her with a smile. This picture successfully caused the netizens' anger to reach its peak. So Xiangli is Dr. X. Oh my God, how can he still smile at his enemy? Doctor, you have a great and compassionate heart, but she doesn't deserve to eat at the same table as you. Kneeling down isn't enough to make up for it. How can she still have the nerve to pretend that nothing happened? A person who can repay kindness with ingratitude to her savior, a person who is so thick-skinned yet still wants to market herself as a victim. With all due respect, she's trash. Absolute trash. In reality, in a certain high-end apartment, Qin Wanyan scrolled through her phone with a smirk. Thinking of how Xiangyi had dared to suppress her on the red carpet last time, Qin Wanyan's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. That stupid woman has left so many things in my hands. She sneered. You want to be famous? Dream on. You only deserve to be stepped on by me. She clicked on the chat box with Yen Nai and pretended to type, Nai, I didn't expect Xiangyi to do such a thing. I don't think I know her anymore. Ding dong. It was Yen Nai's reply, which was incomparably firm frowny face. I believe her. Chapter 190. Qin Wanyan was speechless. If director Yen hadn't been preparing for a big movie, she wouldn't have bothered to maintain her relationship with Yen Nai. Before, Yen Nai would listen to anything she said. But didn't he just go to the manor to record a show for a day? Why did his attitude towards Xiangyi change completely? Qin Wanyan clenched her teeth and typed. But there's video evidence, Yen Nai, yeah. Qin Wanyan. And there's a technical analysis from the netizens. The video is real and hasn't been edited. She had saved the video immediately after the incident. Qin Wanyan knew better than anyone the authenticity of the video. Yen Nai, oh. Qin Wanyan? I've already said this much. Why is this idiot still so stubborn? Qin Wanyan was conflicted for a long time. She wanted to say something more, but her phone vibrated. It was a WeChat message from Yen Nai. Yen Nai. I believe in my eyes and I believe in Sister Xiangyi's character. Even if she really did something wrong, others can criticize and condemn her. But as Sister Xiangyi's friend, we shouldn't talk about her behind her back. Sister Wanyan, this is the last time I'm calling you Sister Wanyan. I'm just someone who doesn't care about reason. You can scold me if you want. But I know that if you did something wrong, Sister Xiangyi would never come to me and say bad things about you like you are doing now. Qin Wanyan was dumbfounded. How could this be? Yen Nai would rather speak for Xiangyi, the perpetrator, than stand on her side. At the manor, the scheduled guests arrived a little late due to a delayed flight. Today's invited guest was also related to Shi Sui. He personally went to the entrance to greet her. Li Jinyu motioned for Xiangyi's cameraman to leave. He walked to Xiangyi's side and motioned for her to turn off the microphone. Sister Yi, is Dr. Xiang's hand injury really related to you? Li Jinyu couldn't bring himself to say it. He stole a glance at Xiang Li. The young doctor was flipping through a book on the open bookshelf. His head was lowered and he looked serious and focused. The girl was silent for 2 seconds before she nodded. Although the soul wasn't hers, there was no way to explain it. Li Jinyu was extremely shocked. After a while, he sighed and patted Xiangyi's shoulder. I'm a few years older than you, so I should be qualified to nag at you. Sister Yi, I think Dr. Xiang doesn't seem to want to argue with you, but did you properly apologize? Xiangyi smiled bitterly. I haven't seen him in a long time. Li Jinyu said solemnly, if you did something wrong, the least you should do is apologize. Thank you. I will apologize and make up for it. It's good that you can think that way. Li Jinyu heaved a sigh of relief. You're a good kid who knows how to correct your mistakes. At this moment, Shi Sui came to pick up the guests. Before entering the door, they heard a burst of clear laughter. Oh, this place is really nice. The birds are singing and the flowers are fragrant. The air is good. Old Sheng, I told you I was right. Old Sheng said helplessly, Madam, slow down. You walk slowly. I'm going to the kitchen to see if there are any leftovers from little Xiangyi. A middle-aged woman took the lead and stepped into the living room. She was born with a pair of smiling eyes. When she saw Xiangyi, she greeted her warmly. Hello, little Xiangyi. Xiangyi rubbed her eyes in disbelief. It was actually her childhood goddess, Yin Jianghu. Hello, Teacher Yin. She greeted politely. Suddenly, she saw Yin Jianghu waving at Shi Sui. Son, help Mom see if there's any leftovers. Chapter 191. Xiangyi had heard that Mother Shi had been recuperating overseas due to health reasons. She had never seen her before, so she was stunned. Yin is Shi Sui's mother? That can't be right? Shi Sui said helplessly, Mama Yin, are you here to record a show or to eat? Yin Jianghu said indignantly, Of course I'm here for the food. Shi Sui asked, Can you pay for the food? The interaction between the two made many netizens laugh, and for a moment, the comments in the livestream finally returned to normal. Wow. So this episode is Mama Yin. I cry every time I watch Writing a Letter to You So Far Away. Ms. Yin is indeed an experienced actress. Her acting skills are way better than the young actors nowadays. What the hell? Shi Sui's biological mother is here? Is it that exciting? Let me explain. Mama Yin and Shi Sui have worked together in a movie before. They acted as mother and son, and it was very touching. If you're interested, go watch it. In Jianghu? She's just an auntie who got remarried. What's there to see? Can't the production team invite some guests I know? Knows. I'm slowly typing a question mark. When Ms. In was young, she not only won the Best Actress Award in the country, but also won the Best Actress Award at the International Film Awards. Her professional skills are top-notch, and her looks and figure are still on point. What era is it now? She's still using her second marriage to attack women? Seeing the interaction between the two, Xiangyi came to a realization. They probably just worked together before. The young girl silently brought breakfast over. In Jianghu happily dragged her husband to eat. She tried a vegetarian bun first and was instantly amazed. Little Xiangyi, your cooking is superb. In Jianghu was especially good at praising others. This bun should only exist in heaven. It's rare to see it on earth. It's so delicious, I'm not going to leave. In Jianghu's husband, Xingguang, was a famous calligrapher. He had an elegant and refined personality, and there was a sense of calmness in his body. However, after tasting the steamed buns and bean dregs, he also nodded and praised, "These home-cooked dishes have the taste of delicacies." Xiangyi replied with a smile, "Teachers, you flatter me." After breakfast, Shi Sui took In Jianghu to visit the garden. Shen Guang was a scholar, so he habitually looked at the bookshelves. Coincidentally, Xiang Li was holding an ancient book. The two of them had similar interests, so they chatted for a while. Xiangyi went to the kitchen to make chicken and pumpkin rice for Xiao Naofu. The image of her all alone was particularly tragic in the live broadcast room. The netizens on Weibo were full of confidence, and they didn't hold back when they attacked. Seeing that B** Xiang being isolated, I'm relieved. So satisfying. Don't say that she's pitiful. She deserves it. That B** Xiang's only worth is cooking. The production team shouldn't give her any more screen time, just let her be a maid and do odd jobs. Bad comments flooded in like a tide, covering the sky and earth. In a trance, Li Jinyu felt as if he had returned to the first day of the livestream. At that time, Xiangyi had also been criticized by the entire internet. She had finally managed to turn things around, only to be beaten back into the mud. He had a headache. Even if he was biased towards Xiangyi from a personal perspective, he could only temporarily reduce her screen time and presence. The netizens who had discovered this became even more derisive. Seems like the production team has given up on her. Why aren't the fans of the actress Xiang dancing? And the fans of the untimely CP, why are they so quiet today? Haha, can I ask if she's guilty of intentional injury? If she has violated the law, she should be punished by the law. Chapter 192. In the past year, Xiangyi had really left a bad impression on the public. Everyone had already formed an inherent impression of her. Xiangyi's name had long been equated with words such as vase, crybaby, and incompetent. Over the past few days, Xiangyi had indeed gained a group of fans through the red carpet shows of Two Under One Roof and Tomato Entertainment. However, in the face of conclusive evidence, the loyal fans and fans of the CP felt helpless. Not to mention, the haters who entered the scene later had very dirty mouths. At the same time, Eating Well for all 3 meals was finally able to start broadcasting on time after experiencing the storm of a last-minute change in leadership. In the conference room of Muyao TV, it was rare for the executives to gather. Heartbeat started high and ended low. Even though several guests had their own traffic, it was still difficult to reverse the trend. The conversion rate for new viewers was very low. Hence, Muyao TV was now betting on eating well for all 3 meals. Hello everyone, I'm Zhui. Zhui was over 40 years old, but his body was not fat at all. His muscles were taut, and it was obvious that he worked out regularly. With his wheat-colored skin and handsome facial features, when he smiled, he instantly pulled people back to the most glorious era of martial arts films. Hello, I'm Jiang Yun. Snuggling up to him intimately was his wife, Jiang Yun. Her voice was unique, clear, and very story-like. It immediately reminded people of her most popular songs from back then. Zhui raised his hand and brushed away the leaves in her hair. The couple looked at each other and Zhuyi smiled in a simple and honest manner. Jiang Yun's eyes curved into crescents as well. The pop-up comments started flooding in. Ah, these two are my youth. This couple has taken good care of themselves. It's not an exaggeration to say that they look 10 to 20 years younger than ordinary people of the same age. Who would have thought that the iron-blooded tough man of the past would now be so silly? Goddess Jiang is even more beautiful than she was back then. She's clearly a woman nourished by love. The memory slaying had worked. Looking at the more than 4 million viewers in the upper right corner, the executives were extremely excited. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's not even the peak of traffic, yet there's such a figure. It's a success. I made the right bet. Someone suddenly asked, "What about Two Under One Roof?" The two programs had the same positioning and were both broadcasted all day during the weekend. Naturally, the data had to be compared. The staff immediately pulled up the data of Two Under One Roof, and the scene suddenly fell into a dead silence. It was also 9 o'clock in the morning, but the number of viewers for Two Under One Roof was as high as 6 million. The number of viewers was even higher than last night's peak. It was almost comparable to the amount of attention on the day of the premiere. Generally, variety shows were the most popular in the first episode and would slowly decline after that. This was also reflected in Heartbeat. But why was the data of Two Under One Roof so unscientific? And it was getting higher and higher. We've done some analysis on Two Under One Roof. The marketing manager was experienced and went straight to the point. First of all, last night's public opinion brought Two Under One Roof great popularity. Secondly, the injury incident that broke out today. While the netizens were angry, they were also curious about the show. Finally, now that the perpetrator and the victim are on the same show, this natural sense of anticipation is even more attractive than a carefully written script. I'm looking forward to the next development. You can think of it as a TV series. Now that it has reached its climax, it suddenly stopped. Who wouldn't want to continue watching it? Chapter 193. Everyone understood the logic, but they found it hard to accept the reality. The executives patiently watched for half an hour. Zhuyi and Jiang Yun performed well and had high popularity, so the number of viewers remained stable. However, what Muyao TV wanted wasn't stability. It was popularity. Compared to Two Under One Roof, the numbers were still barely satisfactory. Besides, Zhuyi and Jiang Yun had received a total of hundreds of millions of yuan in remuneration. After spending so much money, the executives immediately felt indignant that the show was not as popular as they had expected. Had they known earlier, they would have invited a few cheaper guests. Perhaps there would have been more viewers. Change the live stream to Two Under One Roof. I want to see what's so attractive about this variety show. The director ordered in a deep voice. The deputy director sneered. If you had known this would happen, you wouldn't have done it in the first place. She was dressed in a black and white office dress, with exquisite makeup and a strong aura. She looked like a typical career woman. From the beginning, she had been opposed to the practice of plagiarizing the ideas of other shows. However, although she was capable, her connections were mediocre. Recently, she had been deeply involved in factional struggles and had lost most of her voice. Previously, when Li Jianyu was forced to leave, she was the first to try and salvage the situation. After being rejected, she even gave Li Jianyu a lot of pointers. She was happy that Two Under One Roof was becoming more and more popular. That was because the market needed a healthy ecosystem and healthy competition. Unfortunately, now, it had become an era where bad money drove out good money and profits were paramount. In the manner, the guests were divided into two groups. Yin Jiangxue learned how to make kimchi from Xiangyi, while Xinguang, Xiangli, and Shi Sui went to pick fruits to make jam later. Don't use unboiled water and oil when making kimchi. You must use cold water. Xiangyi explained the steps of making kimchi in a gentle voice. She even wrote down a sticky note and stuck it in a conspicuous place. It served as a reminder and also to avoid missing anything. Yin Jiangxue fell in love with this young lady at first sight, probably because of fate. Before coming, she had read a lot of rumors about Xiangyi on the internet. She didn't believe them at first, but after seeing the real person, she was even more certain. Because she worked too hard in her early years, she fell ill. The doctor diagnosed that it would be difficult for her to get pregnant in this lifetime, and her ex-husband divorced her because of this. Fortunately, she met Xinguang. The two of them were very loving, but there were still netizens who made an issue out of her inability to have children. She didn't quite understand why someone would say such nasty words through the screen. Jianghu sighed. If I hadn't gone into filming and got married early, my daughter might have been as old as you, little Xiangyi. Xiangyi's eyelashes fluttered and her eyes were as clear as water. Teacher Yin, do you regret it? Many people have asked me this question, and my answer is still, no regrets. With that, Jianghu's eyes turned blank. But I'm not sure about the future. She was actually very afraid. She was afraid that one day in the future, she would regret it. Who knows what will happen in the future? The only thing that never changes in this world is change itself. Jianghu pondered for a moment and said, makes sense. Logic is logic, but humans have never been purely rational creatures. So, Teacher Yin, may I ask if I can give you a hug? The girl's eyes were slightly curved. Bathed in the warm sunlight, they were bright and soft. Jianghu was stunned for a moment. Then, she took the initiative to hug her. Perhaps, all she needed was a gentle hug from the beginning. Chapter 194. The audience in front of the screen felt touched for some reason. It was another brief hug. However, they somehow felt a sense of healing. I don't know why, but I'm suddenly very touched. I'm crying. Mama Yin makes people empathize with her so easily QAQ. Although I know I'm going to get scolded, I still want to say that Xiangyi did something wrong, but at this moment, I feel that she has a very high EQ and is also very warm. Jianghu hasn't had it easy all these years. She gave up her career and got married, but her ex-husband abused her because she couldn't have children. She's really strong to be able to courageously pursue her career and love again. However, no matter how strong a person was, there would always be a soft spot in their hearts. On the other hand, the three men soon picked a few baskets of fruits. Mr. Sheng, would you like to come fishing later? The fish in the pond here are quite plump, Shui asked Xinguang in a gentle tone. Xinguang was quite interested in fishing. He nodded and said, sure, but do you have fishing rods? Yes, we have fishing rods, base station rods, and lure rods, Xiang Li answered casually. In the past, Xiang Yi's grandfather would stay here for a short period of time. Xiang Yi loved fishing, so there was a complete set of fishing equipment at home. Xinguang thought that he had seen the place where the fishing rods were, so he didn't think much of it. Instead, he said eagerly, shall we compete later? As he spoke, the bamboo basket in Xiang Li's right hand suddenly slipped out of his hand, and the peaches inside rolled onto the ground. His expression didn't change as he calmly switched to holding two bamboo baskets in his left hand. Shui looked at Xiang Li's right hand, wanting to say something but hesitated. In the end, she didn't say anything and silently took one of the baskets from his hand. Xiang Li didn't seem to mind, and he was even in the mood to mock himself. Fortunately, I'm left-handed. However, the netizens watching the live stream were extremely upset. My heart aches for him. Xiang Yi's hand is more precious than a surgeon's. I'm crying because he can't hold the bamboo basket. It's obvious that he can't do experiments that require more precision. Xiang Yi, when are you going to apologize? Kneeling and kowtowing isn't enough to appease your anger. Why are you still pretending? Meow TV. The big screen in the conference room had a bullet screen function, and the angry comments of the netizens could be clearly seen. However, the number of viewers kept rising. While Eating Well for all 3 meals was still stable at more than 4 million viewers, Two Under One Roof had soared to more than 8 million viewers. Soon, it would break through the 10 million mark. 10 million was a dividing line. Xingchen live streaming was famous for its statistics, and all the viewers were real. Compared to the current most popular live streamers, game streamers, and so on, there was only one live streamer who broke the 10 million mark, and that was on the day of the annual shopping festival. No, we can't let them continue broadcasting like this. The higher-ups were anxious and had all kinds of suggestions. For example, arranging a script for Zhui and Jianghu, making them quarrel and even threaten to break up to attract attention. But it was quickly rejected. Not enough. Both of them didn't have enough traffic and popularity. How about, I contact that hacker again? The head of the public relations department asked cautiously. His skills are good enough, but his fees are quite expensive. The deputy station head's tone was strong as he objected. Nonsense. We have to have a bottom line. If we resort to such despicable means, what's the difference between us and shameless people? Absolutely not. Contact him. The station head suddenly interrupted her, his eyes cold and cruel. Chapter 195. The deputy director looked at him in disbelief. She thought that Miao TV was only rotten on the surface, but she didn't expect it to be rotten to the core. The person in charge of the public relations department immediately took action and contacted the mysterious hacker, Chu San, using a specific method. It was said that he was ranked in the top 1% of hackers in the world on Innocence, the largest website for hackers. Chu San got out of bed sleepily with his hair that hadn't been washed for days and began typing code with his eyes still in a daze. It might be difficult for others to hack into a live stream, but for him, who was ranked in the top 1% of hackers in the world, it was just a matter of time. Click. The crisp sound of the last enter key being hit could be heard. The compiled program began to automatically attack Xingshan livestream and locked onto the livestream of Two Under One Roof. Lines of code flashed like a stream of light, and black and white formed the most beautiful language in the world. Chu San yawned and got ready to go back to sleep. All of a sudden, a large red warning window popped up. Oh, someone wrote a new security wall? Chu San got excited and the excitement of being able to spar with an expert surged into his brain. He quickly wrote the attack program, but as he wrote, he realized that something was wrong. Where did Xingshan Livestream find this expert? This code? It's almost beyond my understanding. Chu San gritted his teeth and tried his best. However, the safety wall on the other side was like a tall mountain that he could never surpass. The speed at which he typed on the keyboard went from fast to faster, and then gradually slowed down. In the end, he gave up on the futile struggle. Beep, beep, beep. You have been locked from the inside. Chu San's face turned pale. He had locked onto the live stream of Two Under One Roof at first, but he didn't expect to be counterlocked. Oh no. He immediately began to pack his things and stuffed a few hard drives and a computer into his suitcase. Without taking any clothes or shoes, he opened the door and was about to escape. Several police officers stood outside the door and showed their IDs with stern faces, vaguely revealing the silver light of the handcuffs on their waists. It's over. That was the only thought in Chu San's mind. In the manner. After answering the call, Li Jianyu said into the microphone, I received a notice that a hacker has just attacked our live stream, but fortunately, the hacker has now been brought to justice. We will release a detailed statement on our official Weibo account later. What? Hacker? The netizens in front of the screen were all dumbfounded. After all, this word had only appeared on TV before. It was too far away from real life. A few minutes later, Two Under One Roof's official Weibo account was updated. Two Under One Roof V. Ever since our livestream started, we've been attacked by hackers several times, which is why our livestream is always interrupted. Thank you, Dr. Xiang Li, for writing the security wall program for us. Not only did it successfully block the hacker's attack, but it also tracked the hacker's IP address. Thank you at Ping and Nanxing for catching the suspect as soon as possible. Thank you for your hard work. In the end, he wanted to say, don't stretch out your hand, otherwise you'll be caught. Competition, please come fair and square, please take a seat yourself, dog head. Once the Weibo post was posted, the netizens were shocked. First, he was surprised. So it was a malicious competition. Secondly, he was surprised. Dr. Xiang was too amazing. More and more people flooded into the live broadcast room. Miao TV. The higher-ups watched helplessly as the number of viewers of Two in One Room jumped to 9.57 million at a frightening speed. Chapter 196. 10 million was imminent. Unstoppable. Everyone's expression was so ugly that they looked as if they had swallowed a fly. Especially when the head of the public relations department read the Weibo post posted by Two Under One Roof. Instantly, what the hell is going on? Isn't he one of the top 1% hackers in the world? Why is he so vulnerable? Will he rat us out? Everyone was worried. Looking at the ugly faces, the deputy station head sneered, feeling as if he had fed all of his youth to Meow TV to the dogs. The station head retorted, "What are you panicking for? Whoever started it will be responsible. What does it have to do with us? What does it have to do with us?" The head of the public relations department's expression changed immediately. She realized that she had been abandoned. When the others heard this, they heaved a sigh of relief. Not only did no one comfort her, but they also looked at her with gloating eyes. It was the look of someone who had found a scapegoat. The head of the public relations department was disheartened. She finally understood the cruelty of the workplace. "Dang dang, our pickles are ready." Jianghu beamed at the camera, her tone full of accomplishment. She and Xiangyi pickled several jars, including the carrots harvested by the C7 brothers yesterday, as well as beans, cabbage, cucumbers, lettuce, and so on. The pickle water was boiled with water, peppercorns, star anise, cinnamon, bay leaves, old ginger, rock sugar, and other ingredients. After cooling, wild mountain peppers, small rice peppers, and sorghum wine were added, and the vegetables were soaked in. After the water tank at the mouth of the pickle jars was filled with water, the jars were sealed and they quietly waited for time to give them a taste. Xiangyi smiled gently at the side. "Teacher Yin, if you like it, you can bring 2 more jars back. Then I won't stand on ceremony with you." The more Jianghu looked at Xiangyi, the more satisfied she was. The girl had a good temper, patience, and a sweet tongue. She was so likable. Jianghu used to hate cooking the most, but today she was happy with the pickles. "What did you stew in the kitchen? I can smell the medicine. It's a medicinal cuisine prepared for Dr. Xiang." Xiangyi bit her lips. The girl who was as bright and beautiful as a sunflower seemed to have lost her light. She was so listless that she couldn't lift her spirits. Jianghu didn't know what happened between Xiang Yi and Xiang Li. She only felt that the little girl was quite pitiful. She touched Xiang Yi's head tenderly and said, "Don't be unhappy, you still look the best when you smile." The live stream room was filled with netizens' sarcastic comments. What is she pretending for? Her acting skills are quite shameless. Don't, our doctor brother wouldn't dare to drink your medicinal cuisine. Who's going to take responsibility if something goes wrong after drinking it? Chinese medicine is unreliable to begin with. Not to mention that B** T. Xiang and Dr. X have old grudges. Maybe she's hoping for something to happen to Dr. Xiang. When the ambulance arrives, she can ask the doctor to treat the skin on her hand from a year ago. While they were talking, Shui and the others came back with the fish baskets. Xiangyi's eyes met with her brother's in the air, but she timidly avoided his gaze, not daring to look at him at all. Xiang Li frowned. Although he knew a little about medicine, he really couldn't read a girl's mind. Especially his sister. She was clearly back, so why was she still avoiding him? "Hubby, the fish you caught is so big. Is this a carp or a crucian carp?" Jianghu pointed at the fish basket and asked. She caught a glimpse of a few sneaky figures in the corner of her eye and exclaimed, "Who are those people? They're not thieves, are they?" Everyone looked over and realized that something was wrong. Chapter 197. Seems like they really are thieves. Shen Guang said hesitantly, but what happened next confirmed his and Jianghu's speculation. The men came out of the chicken coop with several eggs in their hands. One of them even had a clucking chicken in his hand. "Great. They're definitely thieves." Li Jinyu hurriedly said, "Everyone be careful, don't go forward rashly. Be careful, they might have knives or something. I'll call 11. Before he could finish his sentence, a fair and slender girl not far away ran over quickly as if she was stepping on the wind. Li Jianyu's eyes widened as he silently complained in his heart, "Sister Yi said you don't know martial arts. What else could this be if not Qinggong? The netizens in the stream? Let's not talk about anything else. The Xiang actress is running a bit fast. So what if she runs fast? She's alone, can she beat the thieves? But then again, these thieves are a bit arrogant, stealing chickens in broad daylight. This chicken is so fragrant, but so fat. Jianghu panicked and shouted, "Little Xiangyi, stop. Don't be impulsive. They have more people." The next second, she grabbed her husband's fishing rod and rushed forward. "Xing Guang, as expected of my wife." He helplessly followed, not forgetting to grab a fishing rod. A gentleman uses his mouth, not his fists. But he can use his weapon. The netizens? Is it okay for the husband and wife to attack together? Shi Sui and Xiang Li also strode forward. The scene was completely chaotic. The cameraman and lighting technician all followed, while the other crew members also grabbed wooden sticks and shovels. Some even grabbed ropes. By the time they arrived, 4 thieves were lying on the ground, and the last one was easily blocked by Xiangyi. The 2 sides were in a stalemate. Everyone, for some reason, they felt like their presence was unnecessary. Xiangyi's face was cold. "Why did you steal?" In front of her was a teenager. His hair was shaved very short, and there were a few new and old wounds on his forehead and face. He was like the most difficult person to control, and the corners of his mouth curved into a wanton arc. "If you want to steal, then steal. Do you need a reason? At most, I'll just return it to you." When the youths on the ground heard this, they laughed and took out eggs from their pockets and threw them on the ground. Pa, pa, pa. The egg hit the cobblestone path and broke into pieces. The egg white and yolk flowed all over the ground. It was so quiet that only the sound of the wind could be heard. However, there was a heated discussion in the live stream. "Are you kidding me? They are all hooligans. They don't look like poor kids from the way they're dressed. It's so infuriating to deliberately ruin the food." DBQ, let me digress. The guy leading the group is a little handsome. The campus gang leaders in novels all have faces now. Xiangyi frowned and her eyes fell on the young man. She slowly pulled out the shirt tie hidden in his coat and tightened it. The young man was forced to lean forward and the distance between them was shortened. The young man's heart skipped a beat. Right in front of him was an extremely beautiful face. Her skin was as white as porcelain, and her eyes were as cold as the stars. Plop! The young man's Adam's apple bobbed slightly as he said fiercely and arrogantly, "Let go of me." Xiangyi raised her eyebrows. "Little kid, let go of my chicken first." Under everyone's watchful eyes, the girl calmly snatched her chicken from his hand and put it back into the chicken coop. "Now we can start settling the score." Chapter 198. There was a moment of silence. The rebellious teenager said carelessly, "I don't have money, I can't afford it." The other boys also expressed that they were penniless. Seeing that they were all quite young, Jianghu couldn't bear it. "Why don't we just forget it? It's just a few eggs anyway, they're not worth much, we can't just let it go." Xiangyi took out her phone and asked without looking up, "What's your guardian's phone number?" The comments began to scold. "It's just a few eggs, is it worth it? The child is still young, must she be so calculative? She's always bragging about being fair, rich, and beautiful. Why would she care about such a small amount of money? It's probably because she's stingy enough that she can become rich." B** Xiang is really outrageous. "I know this kid, he's the son of our company's boss. Why would he steal?" "No, I have to tell our boss quickly." The rebellious teenager's body stiffened before he said stiffly, "I don't remember." "Your teacher's phone number?" "I dropped out of school." Xiangyi looked up and stared at him for a while. The teenager felt inexplicably guilty under her gaze, and he felt that her calm eyes had already seen through all their plans. Xiangyi put away her phone. "Then stay and work, pay off your debts with your labor." The teenager was stunned and said, "You're illegally using child labor. Yet you still trespassed into other people's homes and destroyed other people's property, causing me huge losses." Xiangyi said indifferently. The benefits of having a lawyer as a brother were evident as she could casually use legal terms. The teenager was speechless for a while. What's a few eggs considered a huge loss? Why didn't this woman call the police? Have you forgotten about that chicken? What you're doing is considered attempted harm. The boys were rendered speechless and were ordered to clean the chicken coop by Xiang Yi in a daze. The girl avoided the camera and gestured to Li Jianyu. The two went to the side to talk. Please find 2 people to get some information from. I suspect these kids have other motives. Aren't they just a bunch of naughty kids? Xiang Yi shook her head. My intuition. They seem to want me to call the police, but if I do, they'll have a criminal record. Burglary was against the law. Li Jianyu was stunned. What kind of operation is this? You want to go to the police station for a day trip? Were all kids nowadays so careless? If he really left behind a criminal record, it would be a stain for life. I'll let old Li and old Wang go. They're old foxes. It's not a problem for them to deal with a few brats. Under the pavilion, the guests were making jam together. Shi Sui was in charge of washing the fruits, Sheng Guang and Xiang Li were in charge of peeling and removing the seeds, Yin Jiangxue was in charge of soaking them in salt water, and Xiang Yi was in charge of boiling the jam. Yin Jiangxue smiled and said, We're basically the assembly line of the 2 under 1 roof jam production, right? Natural, organic, handmade. If you want to buy it, hurry up. Here, director, give me the link. 54,321. Li Jianyu wailed behind the camera. Teacher Yin, how can you cheat people like this? Where can I get the link for you? Laughter filled the air, and the atmosphere was harmonious. The livestream viewers were also praising Yin Jiangxue. Although she was a senior, she was very humorous. Just then, there was a sudden rush of a car horn at the door. Beep, beep, beep. A mystery guest? Yin Jiangxue asked in confusion. The program team's staff members were confused. They didn't invite anyone else. The crisp sound of high heels stepping on the stone floor could be heard from afar, and a woman dressed like a rich lady appeared in front of everyone. Chapter 199. Her makeup was decent, and her simple black dress was of high quality. Gathering her silk shawl, she looked around and said in a haughty tone, You're filming a show? I order you, no scenes of me are allowed in the post-production, or you'll have to bear the consequences. When she arrived, she only knew that her son was at Little Rabbit Farm and didn't know that there was a live broadcast here. Everyone in the show? Who are you, ma'am? The audience in the live broadcast room was much more direct. Tihithe, what arrogance. Does she not even know that this is a live broadcast? Such a strong sense of superiority. It's obvious that she's been putting on airs a lot. Xiang Yi slowly stood up. What can I do for you? This is my home. Isn't it a bit inappropriate for you to barge in without saying hello? Please find someone qualified to talk to me. The rich woman interrupted her rudely. Xiang Yi raised her eyebrows and crossed her arms, wondering if she should get the security to throw her out. Li Jianyu motioned for the cameraman to move the camera away and said tactfully, You're the director? Then you should be the person with the most authority here. That's good. I don't like dealing with those entertainers anyway. The atmosphere at the scene suddenly became extremely cold. Li Jianyu frowned. Please pay attention to your words. Being an entertainer is also a job. Everyone is born equal. The rich woman rolled her eyes in disdain and didn't want to argue with him on this topic anymore. She got straight to the point. Where's my son? I want to see him. At this time, the brats finally finished cleaning the chicken coop and were carried over by Lao Wang, the planner. He had just gotten some information and felt that the situation was more serious than he had imagined. It probably wouldn't be easy to solve. The rich woman saw her son at a glance and exclaimed, Rong, how did you get the wound on your face? When the troublemaker saw her, his expression suddenly changed and he turned to leave, only to hear his mother screaming. He just took a few rotten eggs. Do you know who my husband is? How dare you hit my son? Xiang Yi said calmly, Let me correct you. First, his injury wasn't caused by us. Second, we don't care who your husband is. Third, taking without asking is called stealing. They are not taking, they are stealing. The young girl's logic was clear, reasonable, and convincing. The rich lady, on the other hand, was like a shrew. What do you mean by stealing? These kids are just under too much pressure from studying. How about this? I'll pay you and let them come here regularly to relieve their stress. Name your price. She had heard this move from the rich ladies in the circle. Children were under a lot of pressure, so what was wrong with taking something? They just had to pay a small fee to the stationery store or the convenience store afterwards. Even the owners of those shops welcomed the children. Xiangyi's worldview was greatly impacted. She asked, "You mean you pay these children to steal things?" "I already said it's to relieve stress. Don't you understand human language? Why do you keep saying, steal? Why are your words so unpleasant?" The thorn-headed youth looked at his mother coldly. The other youths had numb expressions on their faces as if they were used to this. Their family members had also settled things the same way. Jianghu, who had endured for a long time, said angrily, "As a mother, why don't you think about how to teach your children well? Why do you use such an unorthodox method to solve problems?" The rich lady glanced over. She also watched movies and recognized Jianghu. She sneered, "I was wondering who it was. So it's a hen that can't lay eggs. What right do you have to talk about others?" Chapter 200. Hearing the words, "hen that can't lay eggs," Jianghu's face turned pale. As the saying goes, don't hit someone in the face and don't expose their shortcomings. This sentence was the most hurtful to Jianghu. The netizens watching the live stream were also furious. Where did this shrew come from? I really want to slap her across the screen. Teacher can't give birth even if she wants to. She's already in so much pain, yet she still wants to expose her scars. I'm so angry. Mother loves children so much. She dotes on Shui like her own son, but she ended up being scolded by this crazy woman. I feel so sorry for her. Sheng Guang immediately hugged Jianghu and comforted her softly. Jianghu's eyes turned red. However, the rich woman was not ashamed and instead felt proud. You're jealous of others because you can't give birth. I can educate my son however I want, but it's not up to you to criticize him. Enough. The rebellious young man suddenly hollered and looked at Xiangyi coldly. What did you say just now? Trespassing into someone else's home? She's already committed a crime. Aren't you going to call the police? The rich woman was dumbfounded. Rong, what are you talking about? I'm your mother. How can you let an outsider call the police and arrest your biological mother? Rong Huai clenched his jaw and turned away to avoid looking at her. Xiangyi frowned, and the strange feeling in her heart grew stronger. Lao Wang, the planner, came to her side and whispered everything to her. Xiangyi pondered for a few seconds and said, "Forget it, it's just a few eggs. I don't really care. Besides, you've already cleaned the chicken coop as compensation. Take care, I won't send you off." The production crew was dumbfounded. How could she just let it go like that? The netizens also expressed their displeasure. The actress Xiang is just bullying the weak and fearing the strong. She probably thinks that this rich woman's family is rich, so she doesn't dare to go against her. What a coward. But all of a sudden, the young girl's tone changed. You guys are from Mingxi Boys High School nearby, right? Today is the homecoming day. I'll send you back to school and each of you will write a self-reflection in front of the form teacher. The rich woman yelled, "Didn't you say that you don't care? Why are you writing a self-reflection?" The youths were extremely excited. Rong Huai's Adam's apple bobbed as he suppressed his emotions and pretended to be nonchalant. Sure, send us there then. Xiangyi said, I'll get the car. We've been together for so many years. One car isn't enough for you. The girl said calmly, Don't worry, I can fit you. It's a convertible. Rong Huai muttered in his heart, could it be a convertible sports car? A few minutes later, everyone looked at the convertible tractor that Xiangyi borrowed from Little Rabbit Farm and fell into a mysterious silence. The corners of Rong Huai's mouth twitched. Why does such a beautiful sister drive a tractor? What are you waiting for? I have a tractor license, Xiangyi said calmly. Rong Huai got into the car expressionlessly. The other children followed. The lady said, Allow you to come down. How can you sit in this kind of car? Rong Huai said coldly, I just want to sit here. Aren't you busy? Anyway, there are teachers in school. You can leave now. Hearing this, the lady hesitated. She did have an afternoon tea salon to attend. Besides, the management of Mingxi Boys High School was very strict. As long as she was sent to school, there was nothing to worry about. At the thought of this, she took out her mobile phone and transferred some pocket money to Rong Huai. Rong, you have to listen to the teachers when you go to school, okay? I still have something to do, so I'll get going first. Send me a text message when you reach school. Staring at her back view, Rong Huai smirked sarcastically. Chapter 201. In her heart, her son would never be the #1 priority. Xiangyi was about to set off when a tall figure suddenly appeared beside her, accompanied by a man's deep and magnetic voice. Let's go together. She turned her face to the side and realized that it was Shi Sui. Naturally, she sat on her left. The driver's seat of the tractor was very spacious, so it was fine for one person to sit. However, the young lady felt that something was amiss. Before he had time to think about it, another gentle and clear voice sounded, I want to go too. Xiang Li sat calmly on his sister's right. Brother wants to go too? It was fine for 2 people to sit in the driver's seat, but it would inevitably be a little crowded with 3 people. The slender girl was sandwiched in the middle like a vegetable leaf in a sandwich. Everyone was dumbfounded. The netizens were dumbfounded. What kind of operation is this? Could it be that the tractor is very attractive to Prince Charming? This scene is so funny. Is this a lifestyle variety show or a comedy variety show? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As long as you have a tractor, you can have 6 men. I'm going to order a tractor now. The production team drove another car and followed them to film. Li Jinyu teased, we're considered to be filming an outdoor scene. Guys, give us some 666. Because this segment was too entertaining, there were fewer comments scolding Xiang. In the beginning, Rong Huai and the rest were still a little nervous for fear that the tractor would be bumpy. To their surprise, the pretty girl was indeed someone with a driving license for agricultural machinery. Not only did she look ethereal when driving the tractor, but she was also very proficient at it. The tractor drove steadily on the road. Soon, they arrived at Mingxi Boys High School. Xiangyi had heard of this school before. It was a very strict private high school, and there were rumors that going there for a few months was more effective than going to Transfiguration. Many wealthy and middle-class people in South City liked to send their children to this school in the name of training. It was said that the children who graduated from this school were very outstanding and self-disciplined. They were like geniuses. Xiangyi turned around and asked, this is the place, right? The boys remained silent. After a while, Rong Huai gritted his teeth and said softly, yes. In order to sharpen his acting skills, Shi Sui had once studied a series of micro-expressions. He was keenly aware of the abnormalities of the teenagers. He exchanged a glance with Xiang Li and reached a consensus through eye contact. There was something wrong with this school. Seeing the car at the school gate, someone from the security booth immediately came out with a stun baton in his hand and shouted, are you the students' parents? Didn't I tell you that cars are not allowed to drive to the school? Students have to walk from Bo Shui Road. Xiangyi frowns almost imperceptibly. Wuxia Road is at least a few kilometers away from here. How can he walk here on such a hot day? Was this reasonable? That's not right. Why did you bring a camera? The security guard saw the camera equipment in the car next to them and his facial muscles twitched. Turn it off. Hurry up and close it. Otherwise, I'll smash it. This is illegal filming. Li Jinyu got out of the car and negotiated in a friendly manner. You guys, we are a variety show. May I ask if we can go in and record? It won't take long. The security guard objected anxiously. No. You must leave immediately. Otherwise, we'll call the police. Before he could finish speaking, a thin and tall figure appeared on the rooftop. He was so shaky that it made one panic. Chapter 202. Li Jinyu got a great shock and exclaimed, there's a child over there. The netizens in the live stream were also shocked. Is he going to commit suicide? This is so scary. Quick, think of something. Oh my God, how did this happen? I always thought that committing suicide was a distant concept. The security officer turned around and said in a tone that he was used to it, hey, that's just the students playing around. Hurry up and leave. Li Jianyu's temper flared up. He was usually a coward, but he had a bottom line. He hollered angrily, "Are you human? Playing around? Do you think this is a matter of life and death? Our school will take care of it. You people don't have to worry about it." The security officer threatened. I said, "No filming." He waved the electric baton in his hand and was about to hit the camera. The cameraman, old Zhang, was very experienced. Although he was carrying heavy equipment and was a little plump, he was very agile and nimble. He dodged the attack. The screens of the audience began to shake violently. I'm so immersed in this scene, I'm starting to get nervous. Director, you're right. How can you joke about a human life? Mingxi Boys High School? I think I've heard of this school before. It's very strict. The kind where the students can't bear the burden. At the side, Xiangyi had already called the police. She briefly explained the situation and asked the negotiator to come over immediately. The security officer was furious. Do you have nothing better to do? It's none of your business. It's just a human life. Xiangyi laughed in exasperation. She slowly stepped forward with a domineering aura. The security officer subconsciously wanted to hit her, but she easily grabbed the electric baton and snatched it away. It's just a human life? Don't you have any respect for life at all? The security officer immediately cowered and hurriedly retreated. Behind her, Rong Huai suddenly said, "It's probably because I'm used to it." Don't spout nonsense. Hurry up and enter the school. Don't mix with these strange people. What should I do? I'm a rebellious person, but I don't want to do as you wish. Rong Huai licked the corner of his lips and said in a nasty and ruffian manner, "Sister, he looks so fierce. I'm scared." The young man tugged at the corner of Xiangyi's shirt and complained openly. The other boys also realized that Xiangyi was very reliable. They were like little chicks in the game Eagle Catch Chicks. One of them grabbed the clothes of the other and hid behind Xiangyi. It felt like a naughty child had found a backer. Shi Sui narrowed her eyes slightly. Xiangli was also unhappy. The two men had the same thought in their hearts. Little brats and whatnot are really annoying. The negotiators arrived as fast as they could. With the police leading the way, the security guards didn't dare to stop them this time. Xiangyi and the others also entered the school. The principal hurried out of the office and said in a dignified manner, This is a misunderstanding. It's like this, our school held an art exhibition some time ago, and this student was imitating performance art. He was used to brainwashing the parents of the students, thinking that the whole world would believe him. Unfortunately, no one paid any attention to him. Are you reporters? Which unit are you from? The principal broke out in cold sweat. Why don't you turn off this equipment first? You have to apply for an interview first. Rong Huai stuck half of his face out from behind Xiangyi and stared straight at the principal, seemingly provoking and relieved. It's not an interview, it's a live stream that millions of people can watch. Chapter 203. Boom. There was a thunderous roar and the principal froze on the spot as if he had been electrocuted. He immediately reacted and blocked the camera with his hand, exasperated. How can you live stream? Turn it off. Turn it off immediately. However, it was too late. The netizens in the live stream condemned. What kind of performance art is this? They're treating human lives like dirt. I feel like this school must be hiding some secrets. We must investigate. That Rong just said that it's nothing strange, but it's terrifying when you think about it. Does this kind of thing happen often? Under the efforts of the negotiators, the child on the rooftop was persuaded to come down. His face was pale and he looked extremely weak, but his mental state seemed to be normal. However, the moment he saw the principal, his body began to tremble uncontrollably. He was as helpless as a broken petal in the storm. It was fear that came from the depths of his soul. Boo-hoo! He subconsciously wanted to run towards the rooftop, but fortunately, he was stopped. Rong Huai watched this scene coldly, seemingly indifferent. However, his hands hanging by his sides slowly clenched into fists. Sister, he called out to Xiangyi in a teasing tone. Are there many people watching your live stream? Are there 100,000 viewers? Xiangyi said, I don't know, there should be. She had never paid attention to the statistics of two under one roof and had no idea at all. Wow, that's very influential. Rong Hui casually placed his elbow on Xiangyi's shoulder, but he knew his limits and did not put his entire body weight on it. However, this action seemed very roguish. Before Xiangyi could speak, two cold male voices sounded in unison. Take your hand away. Don't you want your hand anymore? The two men had a strong aura and their gazes were extremely oppressive. Rong Hui was a wolf cub who could easily deal with his peers, but he instinctively sensed danger when facing them. He retracted his hand resentfully and asked in a low voice, Sister, you have two boyfriends? Do you mind if there's one more? Xiangyi said, Kid, you're asking for a beating. Rong Hui said, Sister, can't I think about it? Xiangyi raised her eyebrows slightly, and the coldness in her eyes made Rong Hui's heart palpitate. The little wolf cub's atoms apple-bobbed as he swallowed his saliva. Sister, I'm good. I won't think about it anymore. Don't you think it's a little strange? Li Jinyu scratched his head. It's an indescribable feeling. Xiangli looked around and said slowly, Sound. Li Jinyu's eyes lit up. That was right. It was a sound. Since it was homecoming day, there should be a lot of people in the school. However, other than Rong Hui and the other children, the campus was empty. Moreover, even though such a big thing had happened, there was not a single student in the corridor or by the window who came out to watch the show. Even the boys who went to steal the eggs with Rong Hui did not seem surprised at all. Their expressions were so numb that they seemed to have lost their souls. Rong Hui walked in front of the camera. His face was extremely photogenic, and when he smiled at the camera, he looked frivolous and dashing. Because if you make a sound, you'll be locked in the little black room. The principal roared, Shut up. Don't spout nonsense. There's something wrong with his brain. Don't believe what he says. Rong Hui tilted his head, and the scars on his face intertwined. His smile gradually faded, and he looked like a sickly teenager. What should we do? I seem to like being a mental patient. Chapter 204. The pop-up comments flooded in like a wave. Ah, his features determine my values. I love sick people the most. I love this brother. Am I the only one who thinks that Rong is very tough? The principal obviously has a problem. I'm envious of his defiant character. I'm the kind of person who doesn't dare to argue with someone who cuts in line. Countless comments flooded the screen. At the same time, Muyao TV. Everyone could only watch as the number of viewers of Two Under One Roof continued to rise. 9, 73 million. 9, 85 million. 9,990,000. The numbers jumped again. The first digit became 1. The number of viewers of Two Under One Roof had officially exceeded 10 million. The record for the entire internet was born. Countless people pressed the screenshot button at this moment. There were also countless people who were paying attention to Mingxi Boys High School. The investigation began. Rong Hui brought the police to the so-called small dark room. It was indeed a dark room. If you make a mistake, you'll be punished by standing here. Rong Hui put his hands in his pockets and said in a mischievous tone, Of course, even if you don't make a mistake, you might still be arrested. Apart from the small dark room, there were also weighted sandbags, which were not used for training but for punishment. The teachers' offices were equipped with electric batons like the ones in the hands of the security guards. There were too many of them. There were too many to mention. Rong Hui's cynical mockery, coupled with the livestream footage, was simply shocking. Is this considered a school? Or a prison? F***CK, are they still human? They're running 5 kilometers at every turn and dousing people with water in the middle of winter. All personal items are confiscated when entering the school, and even their cell phones have to be handed over to the teachers. Even the text messages to their parents are edited by the teachers? Don't the students have any right to privacy at all? The principal tried to quibble. We're imitating foreign elite schools and implementing militarized management and gentlemanly education. The students who graduate from here are especially outstanding. Shi Sui suddenly asked, What about those who haven't graduated? The principal choked. The answer was self-evident. Children who could endure such a hellish and cruel education were naturally favored by the heavens. What was unbearable was that after being ravaged like this for so many years, his physical and mental health would definitely be severely damaged. This shows that some students are mentally fragile. Children nowadays are too sensitive and pretentious. That's why they're addicted to playing mobile games. Our school is helping them get on the right track in life. Shut up! Li Jinyu roared. Can you be a human? How painful must it be for the children to be tortured by you every day? How sad would the child's parents be if they knew what you did? It was quiet all around. Li Jinyu seemed to have realized something and turned to look at Rong Huai and the other youths. Their faces finally showed some expression. However, it was not joy. The corners of his mouth were full of bitterness and helplessness. Li Jinyu felt his scalp go numb. He couldn't believe it, but he had no choice but to believe it. The parents were all aware of this. The comments in the live stream exploded to the extreme. If there's a need, there's a market. Think about it carefully. Oh my God, how desperate must these children be? She doesn't want to spend time with her child, but she's willing to pay someone to beat her child? So the parents are all aware? They clearly know that the school will punish them, but they still sent their child here. In the oppressive and gloomy atmosphere, the girl's sweet and gentle voice sounded slowly like the sound of nature. It's almost time for dinner. Children, are you hungry? There may be more updates coming one after another. Everyone can go to sleep first. Warm again, red heart. I'm begging for votes. Chapter 205. Rong Huai and the others were stunned. This question caught them off guard. It seemed that no one in school or at home had cared about them so much for a long time. They were children who had been labeled as a disgrace. They were sent here for being rebellious, disobedient, and addicted to the internet, and were strictly managed. Apart from this cage, there was no place for them to hide and lick their wounds. They were most afraid of sudden concern because it was too confusing. Xiangyi blinked and changed her question. Where is the cafeteria? Swish, swish, swish. The sound of potato peels being peeled was transmitted to the live stream through the sound recording device, comforting and healing. The girl's fingers were slender and fair, but they were very nimble. A potato was peeled clean in her hands in just a few seconds. There was already a pile of peeled potatoes in the plastic basin next to her. Li Jinyu asked, Sister Yi, are you going to cook lunch for these children? Xiangyi answered calmly, There's nothing else I can do. Her hands didn't stop moving. After peeling the potatoes, she went on to cut the meat. These ingredients were sent over by the people from Little Rabbit Farm. In the kitchen of the cafeteria, there were only 2 pieces of frozen meat in the freezer. According to Rong Huai, they could only eat a few pieces of minced meat occasionally. There was a strange school rule that said eating too much meat would affect one's IQ, and students were advised to be vegetarian. However, the vegetables weren't very fresh either. The potatoes had sprouted, and the greens were yellow and withered. It was hard to imagine that these growing children usually ate such things. Yin Jiangxue and Xing Guang rushed over when they heard that she was going to cook for the children. Washing, cutting, and frying vegetables. It was supposed to be a boring and tedious task, but because of the girl's calm and confident expression, it seemed incomparably beautiful. In the live stream, there was still a lot of controversy about Xiangyi. Are you kidding me? Why are you cooking at this time? Send the children home first. Is going home useful? Are they going to be sent to another aristocratic school by their parents to continue their transformation? Actually, I'm a little touched. Maybe humans are complicated creatures. Xiangyi has a bad side, such as causing Dr. Xiang's hand to be injured. But she also has a good side, such as helping the kids from C7 and the boys' high school this time. Come on, it's just cooking and you're trying to clear your name? Did you forget how disgusting that B** Tisage Xiang was in the video? I'm new here, I don't understand what you guys are arguing about. I just want to say that I'm F** King hungry from watching this lady cook with a shovel. In the school cafeteria, everyone had a big pot. The pot was big, and the shovel was also big. Basically, they used a shovel as a shovel. The shovel was heavy, and the ingredients were in a big pot. Even an adult would find it hard to control such a dish well. Some irresponsible chefs would be too lazy to cook. They would just add water and boil it before sprinkling some seasoning on it. At most, it could be considered cooked. It could be said that it was difficult to swallow. However, Jianghu was seriously frying every dish in the pot. Her clean and milky white little face was covered in fine sweat. She didn't say a word and finished cooking 6 pots of dishes. At this time, the rice was ready. Let's get some food for the children first. I'll make seaweed and egg soup, Jianghu said to Ronghuai, who had been watching for a long time. The corners of the thorny little wolf cub's mouth twitched. You want me to get food for them? Jianghu didn't say anything and just stared straight at him. 1 second, 2 seconds, Ronghuai couldn't take it anymore. He looked away and whispered in a low voice. F***, don't look at me like that, I get shy too. Chapter 206. Students from all over the school gathered in the cafeteria one after another. If it were any other school, it would be extremely noisy with hundreds of boys gathered together. But here, no one made a sound, and it was so quiet that even the sound of breathing could be heard clearly. No one spoke, and no one had any expression. They were all numb, mechanical, and zombie-like. It was unimaginably oppressive. They didn't even dare to imagine what kind of means the culprit had used to make them so obedient. However, when the window was opened, the rich aroma of food filled the air. Following their bodily functions, they subconsciously chased after the source of the aroma. Plate after plate of piping hot food was pushed out. Vegetarian 3 delicacies, scrambled eggs with tomatoes, stewed beef with potatoes, grilled eggplant with sliced meat, vinegar cabbage, fried pork liver with cucumber. They were all very common cafeteria dishes, but they exuded a rare domineering aroma. The most intuitive feeling was that they were hungry. The demon-like cooks had disappeared and were replaced by Ronghuai and a few of his close friends. The young man knocked the bowl with his spoon uncomfortably and said arrogantly, "It's time to eat. Get your own plates and line up." No one dared to move, for fear that it was a dream. The group of children stared at the food eagerly, looking like they wanted to eat but didn't dare to. They were like stray puppies who only dared to hide in dark and dirty corners and didn't even dare to approach the trash can. In the live stream, "I'm getting old and I can't watch this anymore. I'm in tears. Hurry up and eat. Everyone has to eat 2 more bowls, okay?" They've trained people to be more obedient than dogs. Their goal has been achieved. It's their victory, but it's the children's sorrow. Finally, someone was really craving for food and slowly took the first step to the window of the cafeteria. Ronghuai subconsciously tightened his grip on his spoon, feeling like the protagonist of a comic who had been given the important mission of saving the world. "Which dish do you want to eat?" His tone was fierce, but he was very generous with the rice. He scooped a large spoonful of each dish, for fear that the person who got the food wouldn't be full. After the first person, there was a second one. The line formed a long queue. The first child who got the food carefully stuffed it into his mouth, and his eyes instantly widened. And very tasty smell. He was stunned for more than 10 seconds before burying his head into the rice. As he ate, tears began to fall. More and more children joined in the food-eating camp. Everyone ate with great relish, as if this was some kind of precious delicacy in the world. At first, Li Jianyu was a little puzzled. He tasted the food. Although Sister Yi's cooking was good, there was not much room for her to show off. To be honest, the taste of these dishes was far worse than what she usually cooked. Xiangli saw his doubts. He pushed his silver-rimmed glasses and said in a low voice, "The best seasoning in the world is hunger." In an instant, Li Jianyu suddenly understood why Xiangli wanted to cook for these children. Because he was really, really hungry. He turned his face away and blew his nose vigorously. F***ck these scumbags. After scooping the last bowl of soup, Ronghuai was so tired that he almost couldn't lift his arms. However, when he saw Xiangyi coming over, he immediately straightened his back and pretended to be cool and aloof. In the next second, a fragrant meat bun was stuffed into his mouth, accompanied by a quiet and gentle voice. "Let's go eat." Chapter 207. Ronghuai was stunned for a moment before he mumbled, "Do you think I'll eat it just because you asked me to?" He subconsciously chewed on it. Xiangyi smirked and said, Spit it out, then. Rong Hui turned around and said, No. But it smells so good. It smells so good. It smells so good. Pretty sister's culinary skills are amazing. Xiangyi found a corner to sit down and rubbed her sore wrists. She was tired too, but she didn't want to express it. A tall figure suddenly appeared beside her. Xiangyi turned around to see that it was Shi Sui. He was on the phone with someone. Okay, send me a digital copy of the contract when it's settled. After hanging up, the man took out a packet of portable ointment. It was a small piece that was about the size of 2 Band-Aids put together. Does your hand hurt? It's all right. As soon as Xiangyi finished speaking, the man gently pulled her hand into his palm. It was clean and warm to the touch. She curled her slender fingers uncomfortably and wanted to retract them, but Shi Sui grabbed her wrist. Don't move. Subconsciously, Xiangyi stopped what she was doing. Rip. Shi Sui tore off the ointment and carefully applied it to the girl's wrists. Xiangyi moved her cherry lips and said, Actually, it doesn't hurt that much. You're still trying to be brave? Shi Sui's dark eyes landed on her face. He sighed helplessly and said, You? Xiangyi thought that he would scold her, but she didn't get the chance to do so. Instead, he rubbed her head forcefully twice. Why are you so nice? He asked. So nice that it made his heart ache. Xiangyi whispered, You made my hair bun collapse. Shi Sui couldn't help but laugh. What should I do? I don't know how to tie my hair. Should I call your second brother for help? Don't. How would she dare to trouble her second brother for such a thing? While they were talking, Xiangli happened to pass by. Shi Sui waved at him and explained the situation. Then, the knowledgeable medical doctor looked at his sister's bun that had collapsed and fell into a long silence. Xiangli pondered for a while and suggested sincerely, Have you ever thought of cutting your hair short? Shi Sui sneered, You don't know how? Xiangli sneered, You know how to do it? Of course they wouldn't. The two men, who didn't know how to tie their hair, childishly hurt each other. Xiangyi said, I'll do it myself. Don't worry, I'll find a tutorial to learn. Shi Sui calmly took out her phone and searched for videos. Xiangli raised his eyebrows. In terms of learning ability, would he lose to Shi Sui? The two men were engrossed in the hair-tying tutorial, unable to extricate themselves. A moment later. Thank you, big sister, for cooking for us. A tall and thin boy looked at his toes and thanked her shyly. Xiangyi recognized him. It's you. It was the boy who went up to the rooftop. The boy said embarrassedly, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed. The teachers were right, I'm a useless and cowardly piece of trash. No. Xiangyi's tone was firm. You're not a piece of trash, you're not useless. You might not even know what your talent is. You might not even know what your hobbies are. You might become a super powerful person in the future or develop a strong interest in a certain field. You're still very young and there are endless possibilities. There are too many beautiful things in this world that you haven't had the time to experience. Life is long and the pain you're going through now is just a short period of time in your life. Life is irreversible. It's irreversible. So no matter how difficult it is, you have to live on and live on peacefully. You're an independent individual. You are yourself and the meaning of your existence. Chapter 208. The boy listened quietly, and his dark eyes lit up. His family would only say, We're doing this for your own good. We've sacrificed so much for you, yet you're letting us down. Are you worthy of us? He had apologized countless times and even hated himself for it. He hated himself for not being a smart child, for not having a lively personality, and for not having a good EQ. Coming to Mingxi Boys High School was the beginning of hell. His body, personality, dignity, privacy, everything could be trampled underfoot. Trash, trash, coward, useless. These insulting words would be heard all the time. However, she said, You're important, you have to live well, your existence is meaningful. The boy couldn't help but sob. Seemingly panicking over his loss of composure, he rubbed his eyes with his hands, trying to hold back his tears, not daring to make a single sound. However, for some reason, the more he wiped, the more his tears fell. A teenage boy crying like this should have been a ridiculous scene, But at this moment, it somehow seemed sad and pitiful. Xiang Li was silent. In fact, he didn't quite understand human emotions. When it came to rationality and sensibility, rationality would always prevail. However, Xiang Li knew that his sister couldn't stand such things. She might seem distant, but she had a soft heart. He silently handed his sister a clean handkerchief. Xiang Yi froze for a moment before taking it. There seemed to be an invisible tacit understanding between the siblings. Even without words, they understood each other's feelings. Her brother wanted her to comfort others. Xiang Yi got up and gently patted the boy on the back. She said gently, "It's okay, you can cry." The boy couldn't hold it in any longer and burst into tears. It was as if he had been venting his emotions for a long time. It was more like he was relieved of a heavy burden. He covered his face with the handkerchief and cried his heart out. The camera captured this scene from afar. Although the guests had turned off their microphones and couldn't hear clearly, their body movements had the function of conveying words. It was the most primitive and direct expression of emotions. "Damn it, something went into my eyes. Sigh, it'll be fine if you just cry it out. You don't even dare to cry. It's so sad, how should I put it? The vase fairy may have a lot of bad points, but she also has a good side. When she's gentle, she can be quite piercing." Seeing that Xiang Yi was coaxing the boy, Rong Huai, who was not far away, gnawed on his sixth bun. "It's amazing that you can cry." When he was in kindergarten, he cried very fiercely and would even roll on the ground. Suddenly, there was movement at the door. There were cries, shouts, and hurried footsteps. It was his parents who had rushed over after hearing the news. Some parents who didn't know what was going on hugged their children, and the whole family burst into tears. They had only heard that the management here was strict, so they had spent a lot of money to send their children here. After the children had been brainwashed, they did not dare to say anything at home, so they did not know that the children had suffered so much. There were also parents who anxiously asked the police at the scene, "Why did they close such a good school? Where are our children going if they're locked up? Did you misunderstand? The principal and the teachers are doing this for the good of the children. Do you know that there is severe corporal punishment in this school? But our children's grades have improved and they've become obedient. If you close the school, what if they become rebellious again?" Chapter 209. You can't just find fault with the child. Parents have the responsibility to educate him too. We're so busy, how can we have the time to teach him? Please, don't close the school. Upon hearing their conversation, Rong Huai's eyes were full of disgust and he was so angry that he ate another bun. What an annoying adult. However, he habitually looked around, only to find that his parents were nowhere to be seen. He paused in his chewing and returned to being a frivolous prick. "It's all right. I don't need my parents that much anyway." The young man slowly ate one bun after another, as if he could fill the disappointment in his heart as long as he ate enough. A sharp-eyed parent saw Xiang Yi and stepped forward to criticize her. "Who told you to be a busybody? Do you think you're a judge who brought the production team here to uphold justice? Let me tell you, we don't need it at all. Now that the school is going to be closed, how are you going to compensate us for our losses?" Xiang Yi remained calm and waited for the other party to finish throwing a tantrum before saying leisurely, "I forgot to tell you that this program is a live stream." "Ah!" She shrieked and cursed. "Why didn't you say so earlier?" The cameraman, old Zhang, deliberately moved the camera forward, scaring the other party so much that she quickly covered her face with her jacket. Old Zhang was speechless. "You're so shameless, huh? I thought you weren't human. When it comes to sarcasm, you're still the boss." Shi Sui answered the phone, and after hanging up he slowly adjusted his cuffs and asked Xiang Yi in a languid tone, "Do you still lack a place to farm?" "I happen to have some spare cash, so I bought the land of this school." Shi Sui glanced at the parents and said, "Since the school is mine, why don't you plow it and plant vegetables there? Or raise pigs?" The black pig meat from last time was quite fragrant. Xiang Yi was speechless. Buy land? To plant vegetables? Raise pigs? She thought about it for 2 seconds and actually felt quite happy about it. "Why don't we build a little rabbit farm here?" Xiang Li said gently, I'll contact the research institute and set up an experimental field for the newly cultivated Chinese medicine seeds here. With the endorsement of the research institute, this school could forget about opening. Xiangyi's eyes lit up. As expected of her brother. Amazing! The parent who was covering his face with his coat was dumbfounded. Buying land and collaborating with a research institute. Who on earth were these people? Those suspected of corporal punishment were all taken away for investigation. The students gathered at the school gate and watched as the school gate slowly closed. However, the expressions of many people were still incomparably ugly. They were worried that the gate would reopen one day. Suddenly, a rumbling sound came from afar. It was unknown who had shouted, F***CK. But in an instant, it became a series of exclamations. Construction trucks, demolition machines, excavators. Countless vehicles drove over and honked their horns. Do. At the front of the excavator, Si Chuanbai, who was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, was expressionless. He looked like his heart was as still as water. Shi Sui noticed him and smiled at him with her arms crossed. Si Chuanbai was speechless. He was a dignified manager. Not only was he ordered to buy land, but he also had to rent an excavator. It was too difficult. It was too difficult for him. Shen Guang also drove over with his wife, Yin Jianghu. The two of them were carrying a plaque that had just been written. The elegant and unrestrained semi-cursive handwriting was written, Little Rabbit Farm 2. Chapter 210. In the live stream. This is so exciting. F***CK, are they going to flatten the school? I've been holding it in for a long time, but I still can't help but cry. I just want to say that Sister E is awesome. Shi Sui is awesome. 2 under 1 roof is awesome. There were no insults in the pop-up comments at this moment, only support. When the first excavator knocked down the school wall, a loud noise suddenly broke out in the dusty scene. Cheers, roars, and applause formed a rhythm that made one's blood boil. Rong Huai had one hand in his pocket, and a smile slowly formed on his well-defined side profile. You guys were there to steal on purpose, weren't you? The girl's sweet and soft voice sounded. Rong Huai's body stiffened, and he pinched his ear uncomfortably. I'm not the kind of person to meddle in other people's business, the young man said stubbornly. Xiangyi glanced at him and said, stealing, live streaming, blowing things up, calling the police, and exposing them. That's your plan, right? Rong Huai's expression stiffened. How did she manage to guess the brilliant idea that the few of them had spent so much effort to come up with? The young man kicked a stone on the side of the road and said awkwardly, Are you trying to say that this plan is very childish? Well, we want to be more mature too. However, they didn't know what to do. This was already the best plan they could come up with. When they learned that there was a live-stream variety show in the manor, they had never even watched it before, nor did they understand the influence of 2 under 1 roof. They rushed in recklessly without hesitation, not daring to cause too much damage. They even took a long time to mentally prepare themselves for the consequences of stealing a few eggs. After waiting for a few seconds, Rong Huai couldn't help but sneak a glance at her when she didn't answer. The girl's eyes met his, and her beautiful eyes curved into crescent moons. You guys did a good job. Thump, 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 she's praising me. His heartbeat sped up like a drum. If there was a deer in his heart, he would have probably gotten a concussion. Rong Huai moved to her side, arched his thin back, and coughed twice. Come on. Huh. Rong Huai saw the look of confusion on her face and said angrily, That. His voice became softer and softer. You even patted that idiot's back. Why didn't you pat me? In the next second, the girl stood on her tiptoes and used her soft and fair hands to rub his head a few times, just like how Shi Sui coaxed her. Rong Huai was dumbfounded. Being touched on the head. His heart was like fireworks, but he said proudly, You're so short. You have to stand on your tiptoes to touch my head. Xiangyi pursed her lips. Your hair is so prickly, like a porcupine. The young man's hair stood on end. What do you know? This is my hedgehog hairstyle. All right. At this time, Shen Guang and Yin Jianghu came over with the processed plaque. A slender wooden board was nailed onto the plaque. Jianghu said, "Little Xiangyi, this is your farm. You should be the one to build it." Everyone turned to look at Xiangyi. Not far away, machines roared and buildings collapsed, causing dust to fly everywhere. It was like the ruins in a doomsday movie. The shadows of the trees swayed and cast a large shadow. The girl happened to be standing at the boundary between darkness and light, her gaze calm and gentle. At that moment, a sentence suddenly popped up in Rong Huai's mind. Everything has cracks, and she is the source of light. Chapter 2:11. Xiangyi blinked and said graciously, "Okay." She took the simple plaque from Jianghu's hands. Her melancholy dissipated a little, and the haters in the live stream immediately appeared again. "Are you kidding me? What's the point of doing this? Hurry up and punish the bad guys. Also, think about what to do with these students in the future. Why are you still so particular about rituals at a time like this? Shen Guang really looks like a poor scholar. He might as well donate some money to the children instead of writing this." Rong Huai was thinking about helping Xiangyi dig a hole with a shovel, but before he could do so, he saw the girl pick a piece of soft soil and insert the plaque into the ground. She inserted it. Rong Huai? The netizens in the live stream? Although it's a muddy ground, how much strength do you have, little sister? From now on, this is no longer Mingxi Boys High School. Xiangyi smiled at the children in the crowd. It's Little Rabbit Farm number 2. Some people in the crowd burst into tears while others cheered. All the children, regardless of whether they were happy or sad, finally had expressions on their faces. They were no longer zombie-like walking corpses. In the live stream, the haters were all rebuked. Xiangyi and Shui are not the police. How do you expect them to punish them? Some people are just holding onto their keyboards and blabbering. What else can they do? Did you cook at the scene? Did you shovel the school? If you didn't do anything, then shut up. Ritual is never a derogatory term. It's the most direct way for people to express their inner feelings. For children, the most important thing is not the closure of the school, but the reconstruction of their psychological beliefs. To a certain extent, Xiangyi's insertion of the Little Rabbit Farm plaque is a declaration of the end of these children's purgatory lives. It's equivalent to giving those who are bent on death a desire to live. This has a very positive meaning. The experts would be in charge of the follow-up work. Under everyone's gazes, Xiangyi calmly got on the tractor. Shui and Xiang Li, who were as tall as male models, squeezed in beside her again. The girl protested softly. "You can sit at the back too," Shui said calmly. "Your tractor doesn't even have a rear-view mirror. I'll help you watch the road." Xiang Li scoffed. "You're trying to curry favor for no reason." Seeing that the two of them were about to quarrel, Xiangyi had no choice but to mediate. All right, let's go." "Hey," Rong Huayang raised his voice. You're leaving just like that? Aren't you going to say anything?" The staff of the program team were also looking forward to seeing what words Xiangyi would say to encourage the healing process. The girl pursed her lips and threw down a particularly ordinary sentence. "No matter what happens, you have to eat well." After saying that, he started the tractor and left. "Everyone? That's it? Gone?" Someone shouted. Big Sister's words have a deeper meaning. Only when one is full will the body have strength, the brain will be able to think, and the heart will have the will to resist. This way, no matter what difficulties we encounter, we will be able to overcome them. Godly comment in the live stream. Is that you, Chinese class representative? However, this interpretation undoubtedly lifted the spirits of the children. The haze over everyone's heads was dissipating bit by bit. Back at the manor, Xiangyi was worried that Xiao Naofu would be hungry and was about to make cat food for it when she heard Xiang Li suddenly say, "Tutu, my hand hurts." Hearing this, Shui raised her long eyebrows. Chapter 2:12. Hearing her brother say that his hand hurt, Xiangyi was extremely nervous. "How much does it hurt? Let me take a look." She held her brother's hand and examined it carefully. The comments in the live stream were extremely heated. B** to Xiang, let go of our Dr. Gij's hand. You're the culprit who injured Dr. Xiang's hand. Why are you pretending to be kind? Was Li Good drugged by her? Why is he calling her Tutu so intimately? Does she deserve it? Li Ji's hand was slender and well-defined. His skin was so fair that it was almost translucent. There were no external injuries on his hand. Xiang Yi pressed a few acupuncture points and asked him how he felt. Xiang Li said calmly, "It doesn't hurt that much. Maybe I'm just too tired. Then sit here and rest for a while. I'll bring the medicinal cuisine over. I'll give you a massage later." Xiang Yi hurried over and personally brought the medicinal cuisine to him. Xiang Li scooped up the soup with his right hand. With a loud clang, the spoon hit the edge of the bowl. Xiang Yi's heart clenched and she bit her lower lip worriedly. "My brother's hand, is that injured?" "I'll feed you?" she asked carefully. Xiang Li's eyelids drooped and the red mole at the end of his eye was faintly discernible. "It's okay, I'll just switch to my left hand." It could be said that he was a vivid portrayal of weakness and stubbornness. It was heartbreaking. Shi Sui was speechless. "Fine, I'm impressed by his acting skills." Xiang Yi watched him eat the medicinal cuisine. She wiped his hand with a warm towel and gently massaged his wrist. Her technique was professional and she used just the right amount of strength. Xiang Li squinted his slender eyes in comfort. Xiang Yi massaged him for more than 10 minutes. "Are you feeling better?" she asked. "I'm fine." Xiang Li's lips curled into a bitter smile. "I'm used to it." Xiang Yi was even sadder. She swore in her heart that she would definitely cure her brother's hand. Suddenly, Xiao Naofu, who felt left out, came to protest. It jumped into Xiang Yi's arms and patted her shoulder with its pink and white paws, as if accusing her of being a scumbag. "Meow meow meow." The baby tiger roared. Xiang Yi said apologetically, "Wait a moment, I'll cook for you." Xiao Naofu rubbed against her collarbone, aggrieved. "Meow meow, Shi Sui. Very good, even this stupid cat came to join in the fun." Xiang Yi went to the kitchen. Xiang Li raised his hand and scooped up Xiao Naofu onto his lap. The white kitten was a tiny ball, about the size of his palm. Xiao Naofu, who still didn't know much about its second brother, turned over innocently, revealing its little belly. It flicked its tail twice, waiting for this cultured and refined man to serve it. Unexpectedly, a dark light flashed behind the man's silver-rimmed glasses. "Male? If it's a little older, I'll send it for sterilization." "Xiao Naofu?" For once, Shi Sui agreed with him. "Let's pick an auspicious day." Xiao Naofu was so scared that its tail curled up, its cat eyes tearing up. "Woo, these two men are so scary." Xiang Li glanced at the luxurious 3-story cat villa not far away and frowned. "Extravagant and wasteful, a kitten sleeping in a shoe box will do." Shi Sui, "A delivery box will do too." The audience in the live stream almost died laughing. Why won't these two men even let the cat off? Xiao Naofu in front of Xiang Yi, showing off. Xiao Naofu after Xiang Yi left, pitiful and cowardly. Movie King X Dr. X Kitten, rounding them up, they're a family of 3. This cult CP has hit the jackpot. Chapter 213. Just then, Xiang Yi came out of the kitchen with a bowl of cat food. Xiao Naofu looked as if it had seen its savior. It bounced over and hugged the girl's slender ankles. "What's wrong, Xiao Naofu?" Xiang Yi bent down and pinched its little ears. Xiao Naofu cupped her hand, not daring to meow. "Rub its head, eat your food." Xiang Yi placed the bowl in front of the cat and coaxed it gently. Xiao Naofu turned its grief into appetite and buried its head into the chicken and pumpkin rice. Xiang Yi looked at the two men on the sofa and asked uncertainly, "Did you two bully Xiao Naofu?" Although she felt that Shi Sui and her brother were not childish people, Xiao Naofu looked too pitiful. Shi Sui looked calm. Do I look like someone who would bully a kitten in your eyes?" The man's rhetorical question stumped Xiang Yi. The girl struggled for a long time, hesitated, and shook her head. Xiao Naofu looked up from the bowl, its eyes wide open. "Damn it. You should do something that has to do with humans." Xiang Li's expression did not change as he quietly looked at his sister. Xiang Yi swayed again. She scratched Xiao Naofu's chin and whispered, "Second brother is a genius, he wouldn't do such a boring thing. You have to be more obedient in the future." Xiao Naofu's face was full of shock. Does this Hu still have a place in this stupid woman's heart? These two dog men are acting as me. Xiao Naofu angrily pointed its butt at Xiangyi and lowered its head to continue eating. In this year's competition, Shi Indi and Bai Qihai each got 1 point. However, the two men were soon unhappy. After Xiangyi fed Xiao Naofu the cat food, she began to comb its fur, feed it nutrition cream, put on eardrops, and brush its teeth. What did it mean to receive special favor? This was it. The two men's faint gazes were about to dig a hole in Xiao Naofu's body. Xiangyi then accompanied Xiao Naofu to play with the cat stick and pinball for a while before giving it a kiss and carrying it to the cat hammock to lie down. Xiao Naofu turned around, still sulking at her. Xiangyi was puzzled and was about to shake the hammock again when she heard her second brother call out to her. My hand hurts again. Why so often? Shall I take your pulse? Because it was related to her brother's hand, the young lady took his pulse very seriously. After a few minutes, she moved her fingertips away. It's more serious than she thought. If she had been in her past self before she transmigrated. But now, she was confident that she could be cured. Do you want to try acupuncture? Conservatively speaking, his condition should improve a lot after a few acupuncture sessions. In the live stream, the netizens once again exploded. You just want to cripple Dr. Xiang. Evil spirit, stay away from Dr. Gidge. If you touch him, I'll feel like you've tarnished the untouchable flower. You think it'll get better just because you say so? What if it fails? Who's going to take responsibility? While the comment section was being heated, the girl said seriously, I can write down a plan and you can show it to the other doctors. If it's feasible, you can get someone else to perform acupuncture for you. It wasn't that she didn't have the ability to perform acupuncture on Xiang Li, but she was afraid that her brother wouldn't believe her. The netizens? Xiang Li suddenly smiled, revealing the red mole at the corner of his eye. He reached out his hand, the light blue veins on his fair wrist particularly obvious. His voice was gentle and clear. You can do it. My tutu is trustworthy. Chapter 214. At that moment, Xiangyi thought that she was hallucinating. The girl looked up blankly and didn't respond for a long time. Tutu, you're already 20 years old, why are you still so silly? Xiang Li's tone sounded helpless, but it was more like he was doting on her. What are you waiting for? I'm giving you a chance to bully me, aren't you? When she was a child, apart from her brother whom she didn't dare to provoke, her younger siblings and uncles had all been bullied by Xiang Li. Xiangyi finally reacted. She took a deep breath and said sincerely, I will definitely do my best. When the girl went to get the acupuncture tools, the comments in the live stream went viral. I was just being polite and you took it seriously? Don't you know what kind of medical skills you have? It's one thing to treat a fever and set a bone, but this is an injury to the nerves. If Western medicine could treat it, it would have been treated long ago. Do you think it's your turn? I'm convinced. Are these men creatures who think with their lower bodies? Why do they seem so mesmerized when they see the vase fairy? I'm so angry. Dr. Gidge is a national treasure in scientific research. Doesn't he have any bodyguards around to take down B***TC Xiang? If she keeps messing around, Dr. Gidge's hand will never be able to recover. In fact, there were indeed special forces soldiers protecting Xiang Li in the dark. However, Xiang Li had always been assertive and no one dared to disobey him. Hence, they had no choice but to report it to their superiors. Soon, Xiang Li received a call. His expression was calm as usual. I believe in her. She will never hurt me. I will bear all the consequences alone. Don't implicate her. Hearing his words, the netizens in the live stream became even more confused. Dr. Gidge, what kind of memory do you have? Have you forgotten that she was the one who caused your injury? This involves a blind spot in my knowledge. So, what's going on? Could there be something else going on? What's going on? The video is real. The person climbing the rock is indeed the vase fairy. Fans, don't watch it, it's awkward. I'm not anyone's fan, but I should be considered the oldest in this live stream. To be fair, even if Xiangyi really harmed Xiang Li, none of us have the right to forgive her on his behalf. But as long as he doesn't mind, no one else has the right to judge him, Everyone was arguing on the internet. In reality, Jianghu brought a medicine box over. She slowly disinfected the gold needles with an unprecedentedly solemn expression. People who were serious were always exceptionally charming. Many people in front of their screens were affected, and the live stream stopped for a while. I'm a little scared now. Xiangli looked at his sister innocently. Can you coax me? Shi Sui was speechless. A person who dared to dissect a rabbit calmly at the age of 7 was now saying that he was scared? Only a fool would believe that. Xiangyi bit her lip. In fact, she was not very good at coaxing people. Other than making delicious food, all she could do was give out sweets. But there wasn't enough time to cook now, and second brother didn't like sweet things. She was a little anxious and subconsciously blurted out, "Gidge, can you be scared later?" The staff at the scene broke out in cold sweat. Sister E, we've only heard of eating later, but we've never heard of being scared later. Unexpectedly, Xiang Li's eyebrows relaxed into a smile. The gentle and refined man was obedient and cooperative. Okay, I'll try my best to wait. Everyone was speechless. Is that even possible? Xiang Yi's face tensed up. Okay, I'm going to start then. Whoosh! The first needle accurately landed on the acupoint. Chapter 215. Then, the second and third needles. Depending on the acupoints, the depth of the needles varied. Some were quick, some were twisted, and some were flicked. Xiang Yi was fully focused and deliberately slowed down. However, in the eyes of ordinary people, she was still too fast. Some netizens in the live stream began treating Xiang Yi from afar. How can anyone remove acupoints so quickly? You should at least find the right acupoint before inserting the needle. Wow, has this female star Xiang watched too many TV dramas? And she's watching it on 2x speed? How can acupuncture be done so quickly in real life? I'm a Chinese medicine practitioner. What kind of acupoints did she choose? She's just trying to be fast. She's obviously showing off. Anyway, I've never seen a Chinese medicine master perform acupuncture like this. After the acupuncture was done, Xiangyi's tense nerves finally relaxed a little. Shi Sui handed her a tissue at the right time. She wiped her forehead with it, but the tissue was soon soaked. Xiang Yi asked her brother, "How do you feel?" Xiang Li pondered for 2 seconds and said, The area where you inserted the needle is warm, and some parts are even a little hot. Apart from that, there's no other discomfort. After he was injured, he visited famous doctors all over the country, and the country had also invited local medical masters to treat him. However, it was only a little hot at most. It had never been as hot as it was now. It's normal to feel hot. Xiangyi heaved a sigh of relief. Since you don't feel dizzy, we'll leave the needle for 10 minutes. After the needle is removed, you should regain some feeling. Xiang Li's eyes lit up. How confident are you? He had never regretted saving his sister because although the core was not hers, the body was hers. However, it would be a lie to say that he had no regrets. Xiang Li was such a proud person, yet he had become half-crippled in the field he was best at. He would also feel defeated and powerless. But now, Xiang Yi actually said that he could regain feeling in his hand. Even if it was just a little, he would be satisfied. Xiang Yi looked at him in confusion. Since I'm treating you, I'm 100% confident. She thought that her brother was disappointed because he could not fully recover, so she explained in a gentle voice, "Don't worry. Although you can only recover a little at a time, I promise that with the help of the prescription and moxibustion, your hand will be cured within 5 times. Let your senses completely recover." The girl's confident appearance seemed to glow. Xiang Li stared at her. After a long while, he slowly exhaled. "Okay, I will definitely cooperate with our tutu." The seemingly calm young doctor's heart was surging with waves. His hand could be healed. It wasn't a possibility, it was possible. He might have doubted the assurances of others. However, he believed his sister's words unconditionally. Little did she know that Xiangyi's words were too absolute, causing the netizens to be dissatisfied once again. The blogger who first revealed that Xiang Li was injured was furious and posted another long post. Frowny face noob baldy PhD. I thought Xiangyi V you were just young and ignorant. I didn't expect you to be so vicious. Do you know how desperate Dr. X has been this year? He handed over his most prized research to someone else, not because he didn't want to continue, but because he couldn't do any more experiments. That was research that could win the Nobel Prize in medicine. He had given it to someone else just like that. What about you? His brain was stupid, his personality was selfish, and his medical skills were full of showmanship and exaggeration. Now, he actually dared to say that he could definitely cure Dr. X? What do you think of the intelligence of a genius? What do you think of the efforts of the famous doctors in the country this year? It's not enough that you hurt Dr. X's body, now you want to destroy his will. Your actions are despicable. Your intentions are damning. Chapter 216. As soon as this Weibo post was posted, it caused a heated discussion. Well said, no wonder she's a PhD student. Being cultured is different. I only know how to call her an idiot. Oh my god, is the vase fairy lying to Dr. Xiang? How can she do that? I'm going to cry again. Dr. Xiang trusts her so much. If he finds out that he was lied to, he'll be so upset. The netizens who were watching the show reposted, commented, and liked the post, sending it to the hot search list. Many people even tagged the big shots in the scientific research circle, hoping that they would come forward and say something. However, the strange thing was that none of the big shots spoke up. Some anti-fans took a different approach and tagged the Wuxia Traditional Chinese Medicine Association. They said passionately, shouldn't the traditional Chinese medicine practitioners' license be revoked? But a notification popped up on the screen. The anti-fans clicked on it and realized that it was a reply from the Wuxia Traditional Chinese Medicine Association. Hello. May I ask who this genius doctor is? Where can I find her? I'm willing to reward you handsomely. The anti-fans were dumbfounded. What the hell? Official Weibo, have you been hacked? He hesitated for a moment before typing, you don't have to thank me. She's a regular guest on a very popular live variety show called The Vase Fairy. After sending it out, he felt that something was amiss. After reading it several times, he finally reacted and hurriedly sent another message. Ahem, I'm sorry, I got used to calling her that. I almost thought that her surname was Vase. Her name is Xiangyi and her Weibo username is Xiangyi. A moment later, many traditional Chinese medicine masters in the country received a call from the president of the Traditional Chinese Medicine Association. An emergency online meeting was called. More than 10 minutes later, dozens of traditional Chinese medicine masters gathered in the online conference room of a certain software company. Every one of them was a big shot who could be called a divine doctor. The person who presided over the meeting was the president himself. He was already in his twilight years and had deep wrinkles on his face. He was hale and hearty, and his hair was black and lush. Many of the masters even secretly discussed whether the president wore a wig or used hair dye behind his back. I called this meeting mainly to show everyone this video. The president made a gesture and a young boy beside him played the video for him. His excited voice could still be heard. Grandpa, I've confirmed that this video is real. This young divine doctor is only 20 years old. Little miracle doctor? How could a 20-year-old be called a divine doctor? Many of the masters muttered in their hearts. When they were 20 years old, they were still being lectured by their masters. At this moment, the video was shared to everyone's screen. Everyone casually glanced at it and their attention was instantly attracted. The girl in the video was calm and indifferent. She seemed to have the help of the gods when she inserted the needles. She removed the acupoints, inserted the needles, operated the needles, retained the needles, and removed the needles. Every step was done by her. In the eyes of the layman, it was as if she was moving at twice the speed. But in the eyes of these masters of the apricot world, he was a genius. 10 minutes later, when the video ended, many people realized that they were holding their breaths unconsciously. Who is this little divine doctor's master? Where do you live? Someone couldn't hold back and took the lead to ask. This immediately caused the crowd to be dissatisfied. Old Sue, are you trying to poach people in front of me? Do you think the little divine doctor will take a fancy to your shabby clinic? Why don't you come to me and take me as your teacher? My hospital is big. All of you are ugly, but dream on. Let me put it this way, where does the little divine doctor live? I'll go to her house and accept her as my disciple. Chapter 217. Just as everyone was discussing excitedly, a voice suddenly rang out. Elder Jing, who was known as the poison doctor, sneered. Take in a disciple? You want to take her in, but does she want to? Her acupuncture skills are enough to be a master for many of you. The conference room fell into an eerie silence. Elder Jing was good at fighting poison with poison. However, his reputation as the poison doctor was spread because of his sharp tongue. Because of his eccentric personality and sharp tongue, he had offended many patients from rich and powerful families. There was a moment of silence. Elder Yun, who was good at food therapy, said gently, "The young lady's acupuncture skills are superb, but I can teach her food therapy." Elder Yun was very popular. As soon as he spoke, someone immediately agreed. Yes. I'm also very good at massaging. I can teach her. When it comes to cupping, if I claim to be second, who dares to claim to be first? The young lady's pulse reading is too slow. I'm afraid she's inexperienced. I can teach her how to look, listen, question, and feel the pulse. The conference room instantly became the time for the masters to show off. The president of the Chinese Medicine Association closed his eyes and rested. Now that traditional Chinese medicine was strongly impacted by Western medicine, the number of young people who were willing to learn traditional Chinese medicine was far less than Western medicine. After a long time, it was too difficult to find a good seedling. Medicine was like any other discipline. It needed geniuses. The young lady in the video displayed such a high level of acupuncture skills at the age of 20. Without a doubt, she was a genius. If they could nurture her carefully and gather the strengths of various schools, it would be a great thing to revitalize the medical industry. Thinking of this, the president coughed a few times and everyone immediately fell silent. My grandson said that she's recording a program. I'd like to invite a few of you to participate in her program and see if the young lady has any intention of becoming a disciple. Everyone instantly responded enthusiastically and expressed that they would choose them. At the Manor live broadcast site, Xiangyi put away the needles and tidied up the needles. Xiang Li tried to move his right hand and a look of shock flashed past his eyes. He really could feel it. Originally, his hand could only do some simple actions, such as holding a book. But now, he felt that he could write and draw. Xiang Li couldn't help but be moved. He muttered softly, "Our tutu is really amazing." The netizens in the live broadcast room were speechless. It can't be? It's really effective? Could it be that Xiangyi wasn't messing around? Suddenly, there was movement at the door. A staff member came in and whispered a few words to Li Jianyu. A few seconds later, Li Jianyu said absent-mindedly, "Sister, please go to the door. The police are looking for you." The trolls started their business. "The police are here to arrest her." I love it." The next second, Li Jianyu's voice spread throughout the live stream. "He said he's here to give you a silk banner." The haters? Xiangyi went to the entrance of the manor in confusion. A white and blue police car was parked outside the black iron gate. When the uniformed policeman saw Xiangyi, he saluted her and handed her a big red banner with a smile. There were a few big words written on it: frowny face, radiant angel, passionate citizen. "Thank you, Madam Xiangyi. You have contributed greatly to our investigation of the Mingxi boys' high school case." Xiangyi, other than the mobile little red flag she had when she was a student, she had never seen this before. "Thank you. This is what I should do." The netizens in the live broadcast room were dumbfounded. They had only seen citizens giving silk banners to the police. So it was the other way around. This was really too amazing. Chapter 218. There was an uproar in the live stream. Official acknowledgement? What the F***CK? This isn't a script, is it? She's just an ordinary, warm-hearted citizen? Putting everything else aside, Li Tao, rational discussion, what's the standard of a female celebrity in the entertainment industry to receive a silk banner from the police? At this moment, countless haters were staring blankly at their keyboards with blank looks on their faces. How is she being criticized? How is she being criticized? This female celebrity, Xiangyi, is toxic? She's also a female celebrity, but she's either glamorous on the red carpet or taking street photos at the airport. Occasionally, there's even some love scandals. What about me? Gardening, cooking, catching pigs, sanxian, traditional Chinese medicine. She drove a tractor to send a child to school and actually saved the child's life. Come to think of it, I actually have some charisma? With this silk banner representing official acknowledgement, coupled with the fact that the acupuncture she had given Xiangli was indeed effective, the comments section became much friendlier. Sob sob sob, I didn't dare to say anything, but I really couldn't take it anymore. Sister E is still a good child if she knows her mistakes and changes. E has indeed done something wrong, and will admit it even if you don't push us over the head. However, I hope you can see the good in her red heart. I'm really confused now. I feel like the current vase fairy is so different from before. It's like she's a completely different person. You're not the same person. I used to like watching the videos of vase fairies variety shows edited by the Up in the Ghost section. She's a variety star and has participated in many shows, but she's really a black hole in variety shows. Not only is she awkward, she also likes to cry, put on airs, and act like a big shot. But now, she's a completely different person. I'm starting to wonder if she has a twin now. Xiangyi returned to the living room with the silk banner. Shui chuckled. Do you want me to hang it up for you? Xiangyi was slightly embarrassed. No, let's put it away. I'll go check on Xiao Naofu, it's still ignoring me. Xiang Li, who was sitting by the floor-to-ceiling window, flipped through the pages of the book on his lap with his pale fingers and said calmly, male creatures can't be spoiled. Once they're spoiled, they'll be spoiled. The words male creature had a double meaning. Shui raised her eyebrows and looked at him from afar. Xiang Li looked over. Their gazes met in the air. Invisible electric currents crackled and exploded as they clashed secretly. The girl suddenly snorted. Is Xiao Naofu a boy? Shui, Xiang Li, the two of them looked at Xiangyi. The little girl was curiously lifting the kitten's furry tail. Suddenly, Shui clasped her wrist, and she could feel the warmth of his fingers. It's not good for you to take advantage of Xiao Naofu like this, right? Xiangyi explained in a low voice. No, I'm just curious. I want to see it off. Her milky white ears gradually turned red. She had never raised a cat, nor had she carefully studied Xiao Naofu's body. In addition, Xiao Naofu was her system when she was about to transmigrate, so its voice was a kind of androgynous mechanical voice. She had always assumed that Xiao Naofu was a girl. The corners of Shui's lips curled up slightly, and her peach blossom eyes narrowed lazily. So straightforward? That's not good. Xiao Naofu also wants to save face. In the live stream, am I the only one who thinks the wrong way? Sure, Indy is too flirtatious. He's successfully made me blush in front of the screen. I'm louder than a screaming chicken. No one can cover my mouth. DBQ Mom, I didn't become a scientist, but I became an expert today. Sisters, untimely occasion, I can. Chapter 219. The girl muttered weakly, but it doesn't have that. What? Shui smiled. She didn't know if he really didn't understand or if he was deliberately teasing her. That one. The man's low laughter sounded in her ears. The two were so close that Xiangyi could even feel the vibration of his chest. Her wrist seemed to be gently caressed, and an indescribable feeling of affection arose. She felt a slight itch. She felt restless. Shui leaned over, turned off their microphones, and whispered a few words in her ear. Then, as he wished, he saw, the redness on the little rabbit's ears became more prominent. Xiangyi. So that's how it is. Xiao Naofu, who was on the hammock, licked its paws and glanced at Xiangyi in disgust. Stupid woman. Not only could she not tell its gender, but she couldn't even tell how bad the two men in the room were. Especially Shui, this stinky man. Even a dog isn't as good as him. A moment later, Shui's voice was tinged with a low, husky smile. Do you understand? Xiangyi's voice was like a mosquito as she replied, Not far away, Xiangli flipped through his book and said coldly, Do you think you can hold Tutu's hand just because you want to? Hey, he was plotting something. Did he think that he, Tutu's second brother, was dead? Only then did Xiangyi realize that Shui had been holding her wrist the whole time, as if she had been scalded. She pulled her hand away and said uncomfortably, I'm going to make a cake. Teacher Yin and the others should be back soon. The girl fled into the kitchen. Shui looked at Xiang Li and mouthed a few words with his thin lips. His back was to the camera, so the audience in the live broadcast room couldn't see it. However, Xiang Li could read lips and easily recognized Shui's words. Don't be angry, second brother-in-law. In Nanqing, men would only call their wife's brother or uncle. Xiang Li secretly gritted his teeth. I treat you as my brother, but you want to hit on my sister? Dream on. The manor stretched to the green hills not far away. Shen Guang accompanied his wife for a walk here. He took off his coat and put it on her. Madam, take a rest. The cameraman was filming silently. After returning from Mingxi Boys High School, Jianghu was not in a good state. She tightened her husband's coat and sighed. In life, things don't always go as one wishes. Some people can't get what they want, while others can't. I really feel sorry for those children. Jianghu actually liked children very much and had put in a lot of effort over the years. First, he sought medical help. Later, he even tried praying to God and Buddha. But she still couldn't get pregnant. If she had children, she would treat them like treasures. But how could the parents of those children at Mingxi Boys High School? Jianghu closed her eyes and couldn't bear to continue thinking about it. Shen Guang said gently, children are like fate. We can't force them. We just have to let nature take its course. Jianghu's red lips moved slightly. Perhaps because the incident at Mingxi Boys High School was too emotional, she revealed her inner thoughts. I recently asked a master to prescribe me a prescription. It said that it can increase the chances of pregnancy, but it will be harmful to the body. I may not be able to act anymore. I want to give it a try. Shen Guang objected. No. Your health is the most important thing. The live broadcast room was suddenly filled with curses. Is Jianghu out of her mind? Me? I really don't understand why women like her insist on having children. I'm vomiting. Boys are okay, but women are hopeless. The Qing dynasty has already fallen and she still wants to carry on the family line for her husband? Chapter 220. Jianghu smiled bitterly and said, I'm sorry, hubby. You didn't do anything wrong. Shen Guang knew that although she looked carefree, she was actually very sensitive, especially since her previous marriage had hurt her too deeply. Our marriage is based on love and trust, not children. If we have children, we'll raise them together. If we don't, it's okay. When we're old and gray, we'll still be able to spend some quality time together. Jianghu was amused by his words, and those sentimental and hesitant emotions also dissipated. She suddenly thought of something and said, I heard from Shui that little Xiangyi has medical skills. Why don't I ask her to take my pulse? Shen Guang nodded and said, okay, I'll accompany you. There was another round of mockery in the pop-up comments. Even if you're desperate, you don't have to be like this, do you? I'm dying of laughter. Vase Fairy can't treat any incurable disease, let alone infertility. The female star of the Xiang family is full of brainwashing aura. Anyone who comes within 3 meters of her will be 100% effective. In the kitchen, Xiangyi put the chocolate mousse cake she had made into the refrigerator and waited for it to solidify before it was ready to eat. At the same time, there was a ding sound from the oven, indicating that the cupcakes she had made were ready. Xiangyi took out a plate and carefully decorated each with cream and cherries. She was done. She brought the cupcakes to the living room on a tray. Everyone else's cupcakes were of normal sweetness while Xiangyi's had a low-sugar flavor. Xiang Li took a sip and a smile appeared on his face. As expected, Bunny still remembered his taste. Wow, little Xiangyi, you made a cake. Jianghu, who had just returned from outside, saw the cake and her eyes lit up. Ah, but I've been on a diet lately, Xiangyi said. Shall I make you a low-sugar one? Jianghu waved her hand and said, No, I'll just take one bite. She picked up a cupcake and ate it. The fruit was fresh, The cream was dense, and the cake was sweet and fragrant. The combination was soft and delicate, yet it didn't lose its texture. It was delicious. Thus, one bite became many, many bites. She stuffed the dessert into her mouth and said vaguely, "Little Xiangyi, you must be a professional dessert chef." As a chef, she naturally felt a sense of accomplishment when the food she made was liked so much. Xiangyi smiled and made a cup of black tea for her. The cake was slightly sweet, and the slightly strong black tea instantly highlighted the taste of the cake. The next second, Xinguang's half-eaten cake was also snatched away by her. "Madam, don't you want to lose weight?" Xinguang helplessly asked. "Shh. Lower your voice, don't let my fat hear you. As long as I eat fast enough, the fat won't be able to catch up with me." Xinguang, haha, Teacher Yin, you're definitely the king of two under one roof. Mr. Sheng's expression is so affectionate. He probably really likes Yin Jianghu. Who wouldn't love such a beautiful and interesting Mama Yin? Her acting skills are so good too. TSK, so what if she's outstanding? She's still a divorcee who can't even give birth. There's an idiot comment in front, I suggest everyone report it. After eating 3 cupcakes, Yin Jianghu finally stopped. She brushed her hair and pretended that nothing had happened. Xinguang reminded her, "By the way, didn't you say that you wanted Miss Xiang to take your pulse?" "Ah yes." Yin Jianghu looked at Xiangyi with anticipation in her eyes. "Little Xiangyi, can you take my pulse?" Chapter 221. Xiangyi said, "Of course, are you feeling unwell?" Yin Jianghu did not hesitate and said generously, "I want to ask if there's still a possibility of me getting pregnant." Xiangyi nodded slightly. "Please give me your left hand." Yin Jianghu stretched out her hand and placed it in front of Xiangyi nervously. About 2 minutes later, the girl said gently, "Please give me your right hand." Pulse diagnosis was one of the looking, listening, asking, and feeling methods. It was said that a man's left hand was the woman's right hand, but in fact, it was more comprehensive and accurate to take the pulse of both hands. After taking the pulse, Xiangyi frowned slightly and did not speak for the time being. Seeing her reaction, Yin Jianghu's heart skipped a beat. However, although she was disappointed, she still turned to Xiangyi. "I'm fine, you don't have to say anything to comfort me. I know I'm not fated to have children in this life." Xinguang hugged her shoulders and patted her gently. Xiangyi looked up in surprise. "Miss Yin, you've misunderstood. I'm thinking about which prescription to choose." She had once traveled through a world. In order to help the female lead of that world ascend to the position of empress, Xiangyi worked hard to study medicine and became the first female imperial physician. She was best at gynecology. However, if she was too good at it, it would also be troublesome. Just like how a straight A student could write down the standard answer quickly, but sometimes, a genius student would struggle with which one to write down. Yin Jianghu was overjoyed. "Do you mean that I can still get pregnant?" "I'll give it a try." Xiangyi gave the most conservative answer. "There's about a 90% chance, but you'll need to cooperate with me to nurse your body." 90%? Yin Jianghu could not believe it. The doctors she had seen before all said that the chances were slim. The most optimistic one, which gave the greatest possibility, was only 10 to 20%. The girl took a pen and paper and wrote down the prescription. She folded it and handed it to her. "I'll prepare a medicinal diet and recipe for you later. If you're still worried, you can take the prescription to the experts. After confirming that there's no problem, you can take the prescription." Yin Jianghu felt as if she had received a treasure and thanked her profusely. "Thank you. Thank you, little Xiangyi. I will definitely do as you say." Some of the viewers watching the live stream were genuinely happy for Yin Jianghu, while others were jealous. What kind of prescription is this? Is there only 4 words written on it? Drink more hot water? Vase Fairy, please go read some tactful chicken soup novels. You're always talking big, I can't stand it. First, you said that you can cure the doctor's older brother after 5 times. Now, you're saying that there's an 80% chance that you can make Mama Yin pregnant. You even confidently said that you'll show the prescription to an expert. Do you really think you're a miracle doctor? No, she's not confident. She just knows that no one can argue with her. How could Dr. Xiang and teacher Yin have anything to do with her after leaving the show? She did it on purpose because she felt that it wouldn't be good for them to fall out with her. TSK, it would be great if they could hire an expert to do it until now. They would definitely smash the vase fairy's face. As soon as this bullet screen floated past, another staff member came in and whispered a few words to Li Jianyu in a hurry. This time, not only was Li Jianyu in a trance, he was also confused on the spot. It can't be, right? It can't be, right? The president of the Wuxia Chinese Medicine Association, along with several big shots of Chinese medicine, begged to appear on their variety show. The reason was his eyes focused on Xiang.